Dude, this is another one this season where I think I have notes on almost every episode.
Mhm.
And this is another one of those where it's everything's humming along, all the characters well established, just great bits all the time. And even if the episode isn't great, there's like a great bit that like carries through.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is it. This is another episode of Heavy Board, and we are continuing the series where we go into the last American sitcom, Modern Family. And we are on season 5. And I think this is one of the free ones here. And we are joined again by Eric, Organized Meat 2.
How you doing, man?
Welcome back. Yeah, good to see you again, dude. Uh, all right. So again, how was watching season 5 for you, man? This is 2013 to 2014 for the air dates.
Mhm.
Um, again, 24 episodes. How did season 5 treat you going into it?
I mean, it was good. I mean, pretty much the running through line is that Cam and Mitchell are getting married finally. And so it kind of leads up, the whole season's leading up to the marriage at the end. Um, but yeah, and that's which was very much like of the time, the gay marriage stuff going on then, being legalized in California, the whole Prop 8 thing. And also, we still get like some of those same recurring characters. We get a lot of Pepper. Dylan comes back for one episode. We get an episode of Gil. It's kind of like a lot, there's always like uh, those short character arcs that we see for one or two
Even
episodes in previous seasons kind of come back. So it feels really familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, even like the tiny like yeah, even the bit players like the guest stars that like played one-off characters are established now because we're 5 seasons in, and they just like come back for like I'm sure it was like what equates to maybe like one day of work for these guest stars or something. Coming on doing the role and then leaving while they film the
Yeah.
series and stuff. So the guest stars are just popping in. I don't know enough about how that works, if they have contracts for stuff like that where you like have to, or if they just recast you if the actor doesn't want to do it anymore or whatever. But yeah, the gay marriage thing, and that's important too. And then not so much because um of the specific politics, but because oh shit. What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, yeah. Just it cut out and then it went back on.
Yeah, I saw that. It said that you like left it and then came back here, so I wondered just connection or whatever. Zoom's been doing that recently with
Can
our
you hear me?
calls. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Not it. Okay. All right. Now I can see you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think it was just a little. Dude, Cox has been fucking up, dude. Anybody in the Southwest area that has Cox for their internet here, which is like your only option if you're not doing like the T-Mobile, whatever. If you're doing a hard line in the ground, that's pretty much your only option. There's like some sections of Vegas where you can get the FiOS and stuff, but not where I live. And like Cox is like the only one, dude. Like this the last like month or so.
uh,
They've just I don't know if they're like
yeah.
replacing lines or something. They're like updating lines, like they're like subbing out new lines underground or something. So it's usually happening at night too, but sometimes during the day, and there'll just be a complete interruption of the internet access. Like it just shuts off. And then I'll go to the Cox thing for like, hey, why is my internet shut off? And it's just like, unplanned maintenance, blah. I'm like, okay, like, and they just been doing that. Like it's like every other week. I just don't understand what's happening. I guess I assume they're trying to update the infrastructure here for
Yeah.
broadband, but
I don't know what's going on. It says my network bandwidth is low. I use it's just some like Wi-Fi system that's set up here since it's an apartment. There's no like
well, why don't we just turn
yeah,
off
I don't use
camera? We'll turn off camera here.
that. That might
Uh
help a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, that'll lower bandwidth so that we're not it should be good. Sometimes it takes a little bit too, like it'll be like spotty when we're first starting and then it'll like even out as we like are on the call, but
Yeah.
if it happens, again, whatever, it should save everything here. But whatever, we'll do it without camera. We're good. We got a report already. We don't need to see each other technically. All right, where the fuck were we? All right, we
Yeah.
were just getting
Yeah.
started on the gay
So,
marriage thing
what were we in?
with it's not so much the politics, right? Like it's not like I think the world at the time, like there were very few people outside of like, the viral stories of that woman in Kentucky or whatever,
Yeah.
who like refused to issue a marriage license to a gay couple. If I'm remembering correctly, and listeners
Yeah.
can chime in, I believe that was like the only controversy post this decision. Because I think at that time
Mhm.
the culture was just ready. The country and the culture at large and the politics at large was just ready to like have this stop being an issue. Like I think even many like at this time I think even Dick Cheney had come out in favor of a gay marriage because his daughter had come out as gay. Like there was all this kind of it was just a part there was a it was a celebratory moment in the culture. Again, maybe not for a small sect of people like what was that woman's name, dude? She looked like some Pentecostal woman whenever I saw it. Her name was like Kimberly something, or wasn't it like the
Y-
woman that like refused to give the marriage license to the gay couple in like Kentucky or something, or like
y-
Alabama?
Yeah, I know her name. If I know her name, if I heard it, yeah, it was Kentucky, but she went to the Supreme Court recently again to try to overturn the gay
Oh,
marriage,
Jesus. Yeah.
uh, and she lost, of course,
Of
because I don't know,
course.
because some new decision opened up maybe a slight loophole. But yeah, no, she lost. So that's when I heard her name come back up again. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard of her in
Exactly.
years.
Same, dude. I hadn't thought about it until we started like going
But
back.
yeah,
Oh
I mean,
yeah, 2013 when gay marriage passed, and I only remember celebration, but it might be about, who you're around for that, of course. But I only remember that in my like,
yeah,
coastal elite enclave where I'm from. But anyway, the only reason I bring that up is one because it
yeah. I
matters
mean,
to the season, but it's like it is the first instance of this is the season where politics starts to become a topic. Again, I don't want to
yeah,
overemphasize that, listeners. Like, listen to all these episodes and talk about the ongoing thesis that we have here is using this show as like a guide for how the culture shifted so dramatically in that decade.
mhm,
But it is not so much the politics of it, but just the fact that politics is coming into it. And again, it's still well done. It's still well written. It's still used as a great joke and gags and stuff. It's still a great sitcom using it, but it's just this is the beginning, even more so than any of the previous seasons, where, and we'll get into this as we get into the episodes, listeners, but I just wanted to lay that down as like, yeah, the gay marriage is the big through line. And dude, I don't remember it that well as much, but I remember watching like the documentary on Modern Family. I think it was like one of those things when they made the documentary during like the filming of the last season. Uh, because it's like, oh, this historic sitcom. And they just talked a lot about that season in particular because it was the biggest show on TV. They were probably the biggest gay characters on TV, at the time, bigger than Will and Grace or any of
this
the
would be
other.
done by this time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right, yeah. Because
And
it's
it
Willing.
was just more popular than Will and Grace, ever was, like
You could watch it with your family, whereas Will and Grace was like too much sex jokes, like too
yeah,
many. Yeah.
for adults more than like a
Mhm.
broader audience. Maybe that's why it never took off. Yeah. And a smaller,
Yeah.
smaller scale. So it's not as a huge family. It's just a couple friends, like the traditional sitcom format. Uh, yeah. So I don't know. It was just that. And they were on the cover of Time magazine. They were on the cover of TV Guide, like, and it was
Mhm.
Mitch and Cam in tuxedos, like the actors in the character doing the thing because it was a huge event. It was like a huge television event, like the gay couples getting married, and it coincides with, yeah, the passing of this Supreme Court decision. Because I don't even remember the details of it. I was in college at the time, finishing, and it was like, it wasn't it something like California passed Prop 8 or Prop 6 or whatever the fuck it was,
Yeah,
right?
it's Prop 8. Yeah.
And then they overturned it, and that's what caused it to go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, isn't that how it played out or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. Because it was California first.
Yeah. And then there was like some petition to overturn it, and it got overturned. And then they I don't know, there was something to like that, so let's send it up to the Supreme Court, beyond the
Yes.
state level to the federal level, and then it just happened at the federal level. Everybody kind of expected it too. Yeah, it was just kind of like I said, I remember only celebration at this time in the in the world.
Yeah, I remember that as like, I mean, everyone was really happy about that. I talked to maybe some more conservative older people, and they weren't ecstatic, but they didn't necessarily they didn't really care about it at that point, which I think the show does a good job along the way of really explaining that in like the Jay's character, where it's like he's he still has some feelings like, that's a little weird,
Right.
makes him a little uncomfortable, but he's willing to just go along and accept it because it just isn't really something he's going to put up a fight about, especially with his own family member, his own son. But I think everyone's feeling was just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. It doesn't really affect me, you know.
Yeah.
It's just these other people who can choose to do it if they want. It was like a big cultural moment.
Right.
Uh,
Which is why it's reflected in the show, the biggest show on TV at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, really, so some of the background to that is Jesse Tyler Ferguson's husband was actually working for Prop 8 and a lot of that stuff. And kind of was, giving the show like kind of some information like, hey, yeah, like this is the momentum on this is moving, so you could probably do the next season about it. And it kind of worked out that way where they were planning this because they felt it was going to pass.
Yeah, I think
Um,
everybody kind of knew it was. And that's what I mean. It felt like a moment in the culture where almost everybody was on board. Like, okay, just do it. Like, let's just finally get this over with.
yeah.
Not even like a
And
relief thing. It was like I said, I remember it only being celebratory. And the show celebrates it, and
yeah,
that's I think is an accurate reflection of the majority of the culture. Most people are not, although again, of course, you can meet all kinds of freaks online that are anti-gay marriage or something, but
yeah. And I mean, this is like Prop 8 wasn't the first time this was tried. It was tried, I think, 2 election cycles, but failed both times, gay
yeah,
marriage in California. So you could tell how, like, kind of quickly the culture shifted, and it was kind of a little slower than you expect given California.
yeah,
But there were still some like kind of moderate liberal older people who just the idea and eventually were just like, look, I don't care. Let's stop fighting about this. It doesn't really affect me. And that's where I think a lot of like older people stood. Of course, there's not that many because they died off,
right.
and younger people are just putting up with it. So it doesn't really.
And it's actually we'll get to this. There's a funny little bit again because the show is so well written and so well done that they write in Cam's grandmother, like old woman in Missouri, is supposed to be like a stand-in for that, and even her like at the end we'll get to this where she's kind of like accepts it and is like going to come to the wedding anyway, like
Yeah.
despite her making comments and things. Uh,
Mhm.
and those of us that have grandparents that are long gone now because they were of that generation, like that's kind of how they were. Yeah, they would talk a big game, and then if it was their kid or something or their grandson, they would soften them a lot. You mean fucking Dick Cheney? Like I said,
Yeah.
like this. Oh, his daughter's suddenly gay. All of a sudden, he's doesn't change his tune,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. Like I said, man, I remember a broad cultural thing. But anyway, yeah, that was my first note because the whole season starts with, the proposition passes, the Supreme Court decision comes down, and then gay marriage is here, legal, baby. I put in my notes, gay marriage is here, baby. Yeah. Uh, and the big thing with this one, dude, that first episode even was one of the best bit in the whole episode is the Jay and Manny at the courthouse bit
Oh, yes.
where like people they're like talking and everyone's overhearing them and they think it's like some like child old man marriage because it's like they're waiting in line with all these gay couples waiting to get their like marriage license, because they need to get Manny's birth certificate and they're just talking about like it just yeah, classic sitcom situation, but everyone thinks that like they're gonna get married, Manny and Jay,
Yeah.
like the way they're talking, and it's like everyone's like staring at them. All the gay couples are like, "Oh God, these guys are freaks," you know, like
Which was a big thing back then. A lot of people, the stereotype of gays being like, grooming younger boys,
right, or like
which
trying to
which
marry
sort of is a
llamas, or yeah,
yeah, which sort of is a thing. They don't necessarily get married, but that it's been talked about. But yeah,
yeah,
the fact that they actually chose to do that gag is like, I mean, so they were still focused on funny, not politics was entering into it, but at that beginning of the season, like yeah, they kind of made what would a joke you probably could not make
yeah.
on network TV anymore in prime time.
That's so true because it's one of those things where again I don't want to overemphasize it, listeners. You know, hindsight is 2020. It's easier to look back and notice these subtle changes watching it now, but like you can tell that like it was not some serious thing. It was still written as like a joke. This was a comedy writer's room, and you can tell that they had gay men in that writer's room because they're willing to make these types of jokes. They're writing these bits that only kind of gay men could find the little funny piece and bring it out here, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
straight writers could too, but yeah, you need that gay eye.
And no, they definitely had a couple gay men and also I think a lesbian. One of their showrunners was a lesbian.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah, so that you could tell that there was like, because I mean, there's just so many great bits like that between like the specific things between gay men and like gay couples and blah blah blah. Uh, yeah, so that's great. Lots of, I mean, not I even that first episode, it was kind of like it was a flashback, right? It was like suddenly last summer.
yeah. Hmm.
Where they like flashback and then flash forward. Weaker, one of the weaker of like the first, start the season episodes, but uh still fine, still funny. Like I said, that Jay and Manny bit at the courthouse is great.
The other bit I like in this that it's kind of carried through the whole episode is in the beginning when I think Cam and Mitchell come over to Jay and Gloria's house and they're like, "Oh, we did it, we won, gay marriage is legal." And then Baby Joe vomits,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Jay's like, and Lily's like, "Why'd he vomit?" And Jay's like, "It's just gonna take him some time to get used to it," which
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
which is perfectly sets up kind of how Jay is. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, Joe, you're just like me. I know. It weirds me out. It's just gonna take you some time." And I mean, they mention getting married or two men getting married a couple times throughout the episode, and Baby Joe always vomits at
Yeah.
the exact moment. And so I love that running bit where there's still, you can just still make fun of all this stuff because it was so new.
Yeah, and because I mean it was a writer's room that was still like in the traditional sense of writer's rooms. It was comedy first, even though
Mhm.
some political things because social media was taking over the world, are coming in and they're becoming topics that they're writing within, they're still doing the comedy first. And yeah, you can tell because like little gags like that are so great. Yeah. And I think it's a way of capturing the full spectrum, right? Like of what was going on, where there's all these people that are celebrating, and there's like the people that are a little reserved, but also like don't really aren't going to raise a stink about it. And then there's like the old generation that's like, what? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like two men
Yeah.
getting married. Like,
Yeah. And one other bit I did like is so one of the reason they have to get Manny's birth certificate is because he's going to Colombia. Um, and Gloria is saying, "Oh, right when you get there, remember talk to your cousin Rebella or something like that, or stay away from your cousin Rebella." And she's like, "Oh, like why?" And it's just she names all these people like who are relatives who have names like rubella, diphtheria, like all these diseases that I thought was really funny. I think that's the only other thing I wrote down.
they also have, I mean, again, this is just Jay, Cam, and Phil are just carrying the seasons at this point, dude. Like those characters are just always doing one-liners that are so funny, so great. And like I think that the one of my other favorite parts of that first episode is right at the end because he like told Manny not to bring two robes with him.
Oh
And then
yes.
he like wrote him that like nice letter, and Jay starts crying. And he's like, she's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm gonna go send him his other rope."
Yeah.
Like it's like, like yeah. So they always try to
No.
soften it a little bit with that.
Yeah, no. That's always funny. And also there's a running gag in that episode where everyone's talking about like, oh, are Cam and Mitch gonna get gay married? And then Jay's complaining about like, oh, these people must be in line to get their gay marriage license. And everyone's like, I think it's just called a marriage license. And it's sort of like that correcting. You still, again,
Right.
early
Yeah.
on, you get that correcting. Oh no, people don't get gay married. It's just they get married, you know.
Right. Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
get a gay marriage license. They get a marriage license. Like, remember, it's equal. You don't have to, yeah. So you get a lot of, get some of that. Yeah, which kind of
Mm,
sheds light on how this might go in the future.
yeah. And that's a foretelling of because Manny is the character that I think becomes kind of the mouthpiece for it the most. It's like him and Alex in the later seasons when it becomes full blown, kind of with the woke.
Hmm.
And I'm talking the late seasons when all the kids are basically adults or like in college or something. Like, those last couple seasons right up till 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Manny, it's fitting that like Manning's, and I mean, it makes sense for those characters, but also, yeah. And then in episode two, we have, all right, Claire going back to work this season
Yeah.
with Jay, which leads to some great gags.
Hmm.
And Phil gets to do a little bit more domestic stuff, which makes it kind of funny. Because that second episode is when he and Gloria are like being extras in that like life insurance or mortgage commercial.
Yes.
That's great. And Phil has another great Phil line in that where he's just like, wait, this isn't one of those catheter commercials, is it? Because if it gets too descriptive, I'm going to squirm. He's, oh, I did it to myself. He like starts squirming. Like, yeah.
And also, Phil, he has a great bit in the beginning giving Claire some advice for breaking ice on her first day at the office, and he's like, "Oh, why don't you do Christopher Walken closet?" And he does, and he does his like Christopher Walken impersonation, which is just pretty funny, and it's like classic Phil's like dorky jokes.
And doesn't she try it at some point and like everyone like already knows
Mhm.
that joke? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also in Jay's office, you could see Barkley. I don't know if they've showed him before in the office, but yeah, it's kind of like it's always funny where they manage to move him.
Yeah.
Uh, like yeah, like up in the attic, and then he's like back down in the house when I think last season when Manny's dad was visiting with his new wife. But yeah, it's just sort of like just you see that and you're like, oh, there's Barkley and how much Gloria hates it.
And which comes back in the Vegas episode. Uh,
Yes. Yeah, we'll
uh,
talk about
yeah.
that.
Rebarca or whatever with the
Yeah, her
girl
partner.
version.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
And also, this is uh, an episode where Cam sort of gets back into work. He starts, I guess, his previous job as musical director was eliminated because of budget cuts, so he's been unemployed. So he's been doing this on the substitution list
Yeah.
to history class. And again, as always, he comes in thinking that he's just going to give this grand lecture, and everyone's going to be floored.
Like
And
dressed as George Washington.
yeah,
Yeah.
he dresses as George Washington, and he just starts talking about like the American Revolution, and all the classes like, are we supposed to be talking about like the Native Americans something
The
like yeah,
genocide. Yeah.
yeah.
Andrew Jackson. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and he has no idea. He doesn't know anything about history. And in that episode, Andy Daly, who is like one of the funniest like bit player like comedic actors uh, out there. I mean, for years he's been in everything. He plays the principal.
Right. I was gonna ask. Yeah, he's the principal, right? Yeah.
Al
That.
Always a great straight laced, like almost a straight man, but just like gives you those like just his delivery of his lines. It's always funny.
Yeah,
He's
it's
always
very
funny.
good. And then Cam becomes the football coach. That's a great interaction when they're talking.
Hmm.
Like he's just like, oh no, well we don't even really know anything about football. He's
Yeah, yeah.
Cam's like, well, your receiver needs to learn to run his routes. He's
Mhm.
like, what? He's like, hey, you need to run your routes. He's like, what's a route? He's like, oh
Yeah,
God, like,
yeah. Cam has to show him. It's just like, and that's how like the rest of the season is kind of Cam, and there's some football coaching plots, which is great. I think that's
yeah.
like a really good
And Stone
change of
Street,
pace for him.
Eric Stone Street plays it so well too, where he does like the gay thing, and then all of a sudden he like goes into football coach, and it
Yeah.
just works so well for the character. It's so funny. Like when
Hmm.
he's like, oh my God. And he's just like, well, why don't you do it? He's like, okay, yeah, hustle up. He just like yells
Yeah.
at him or whatever. He's like, you know what hustle means, Dan?
Hmm.
Like, he's just like brutal coach all of a sudden. It's just great character switch.
And they've built that like football background with them
Right.
prior to this, so it's sort of like, farm stuff. So it fits naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. That works. That works. And yeah, that he played football in college and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, and the other part I like in this is where Claire has to go to lunch with a coworker who she was informed by Jay earlier is going to be fired.
Right. And he's like the
And
loser coworker.
he's and he just talks about his turtles the entire time. And she's just really, he talks about buying a house, and she's like, "Oh, really? You and the turtles?" And he's like, "No, no, my wife." And she's like, "Oh, your wife? What?" And she probably makes really good money, right? And he's like, "Well, she's in school now." And she's like, "Oh, what she's studying? She's getting her master's in Latin."
Yeah.
And like, it's like, "Oh no, you're not gonna make any money off of that. Do not buy a house."
Yeah, and she tells him, and that makes, and then he like does like a cyber attack on the company because he's like the IT guy at
Yeah,
and she like told him that like Jay's looking for an excuse to fire him, basically.
yeah.
Uh,
I want to say that guy wasn't he the principal in Community?
oh, he
Did you
might
ever
have been.
watch that show?
Yes,
I
yes,
think
and
it was that
he
guy.
was that guy is he's like an Oscar-winning screenwriter. Didn't he write that George Clooney Hawaii movie?
The Descendants,
The
yes.
Descendant, which is like underrated, very good, kind of,
Mhm.
yeah. Uh, uh, and yes, yeah, he was fantastic in Community too. Yeah, it's so crazy. This guy's like an Oscar-winning screenwriter, and he just does like comedy bit parts, like as an
Yeah.
actor. Like,
I mean, you figure he just must know someone on there, and they're talking and like, "Yeah, come on and play this part. It's fun, you know." And by this time, also like Modern Family had won many Emmys, so it was probably like another good thing to throw on the resume.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, because like no one, yeah, again, like no one knows the face of who writes movies, so he has to really get work as an actor. He's
yeah. That's always funny too. Um, and episode three is where we have Phil. This is like a running plot line for this season where Phil is getting like a hot streak selling houses because he's like courting these like newly divorced women that need to buy a house post divorce with their like alimony.
yeah,
That is so great. And like the way Phil is like being like a stepdad to their kids and stuff. Like he's like in the grocery store with one of them at one point. Like it's so fucking great. Uh
no, he talks about yeah, he's just talking with women on the phone about how they can do better. They don't need
yeah.
their husband. Like, yeah, it's all stuff like that. But yeah, it's a great scene when he's caught in the end by by Claire.
Yeah, and like
Um,
and a couple other clients because they're all at the grocery store and he's like carrying this other woman's kids. Like
yeah, he's shopping for this lady, and he's buying like putting the zucchini in her shopping cart for her, and some other woman comes by, starts talking to him, and it's like, "Oh yeah, you come over. I have that cornbread that you like so much." And then the woman says, "Oh, cornbread? I thought zucchini bread was your favorite. Then why am I buying zucchinis?"
yeah, he's like the stepdad for all dude. And then yeah, Ty Burrell just plays it so well. A
Yeah.
lot of great looks to the camera with that is fantastic. Also, there's like a small plot line in the third episode of Joe's Gloria and Jay's young son, the new character, his Colombian side.
Oh, yes.
And at one point he like steals a priest's wallet. And that's
Yeah.
like the joke is his like Colombian side coming out or whatever is like he's like stealing things, pickpocketing the priests. Like uh
Well, I
that's
mean, yeah, and Gloria calls the priest over because like, she notices, I don't know, some sort of mean streak in him, or what she thinks is a mean streak.
yeah, she's
And
worried about it
she,
like being like her father or something or
yeah, well, she's calling the priest over to get him like an exorcist or something. Almost like she wants him to like exorcist, like cast the demon out of the child or something. Yeah, and the priest doesn't do that, of course. But
and the priest is like, "Oh, he's a good, kind-hearted boy." And he's like, "Wait, where's my wallet?" And like Joe has it in like the playpen or whatever. Like took it out of
yeah,
his fucking pocket. That's great. Uh Cam's well, that's episode 4. Cam's sister is introduced. Um
um, yeah. Oh, episode three again. Larry the cat. Who they don't really make much of a character as they could, but they do in this episode.
right, like
He's
teaching
missing
Lily
for a
about
while.
death.
Yeah, he's missing for a while, and you know, Cam is just convinced, oh, that cat's fucking dead. Like it's never coming back. So eventually he has to tell Lily that uh he died, and as he's telling her, the cat shows back up, and then he has to make something up about how, oh, he got married and went to live with his wife, but his wife died. And so she wants to have a funeral for Larry's wife. And they, it just turns into this whole production. And, he ends up calling like a gospel choir, like a bunch of other pets arrive. He has to call in Dylan to like dig the hole for this pretend cat. Um, but I mean, the whole backdrop is that, like, I guess, Cam wants to be in charge entirely of planning the wedding. And, he goes overboard more than he should. And this is kind of like planning the funeral, is kind of where he realizes, oh, okay, maybe Mitchell should help with this too. But
Is it
yeah,
like has a problem cutting back or whatever? Dude,
yeah.
then that's the scenes where they're wedding planning this whole season with Pepper and Ronaldo, that other little like assistant for Nathan Lane. Those are such great scenes. And yeah, I mean, I wrote this down as later when Nathan Lane becomes more involved in like the later episodes here for the actual wedding. Like it is like the final. This it's a two-part finale where we see the wedding, and Nathan Lane during that two-part finale is such classic, Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
It's so good, and he's so great for that role as like the gay wedding planner, like slash friend that's like bitchy and like shouting and like stressed out. It's so great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very much like, for like Father of the Bride, Martin Short's wedding planner
Dude,
character.
yes.
It's very much like iconic like that.
Dude,
It's great.
undersung that movie too, dude. I'm glad you brought up Father of the Bride, dude, because I feel like that movie is so underloved for like what it did, if like
Mhm.
especially at the time. Martin Short, especially in that role as Frank,
Mhm.
like the dude, it is so good.
No, that was a huge,
Yeah,
like every family watched that.
we
Like,
had it
I
on
did that
VHS, dude,
multiple times. Yeah, so did we.
and
Yeah.
part two too. Yeah,
hmm
yeah,
We
we had
rented it
this.
so much, and eventually, like, we're just like, once it was like 9.99 or whatever, and the bit is like, yeah, let's buy
Yeah,
this. I'm like,
Kieran
yeah.
Kieran Culkin,
hmm
yeah, pre-Oscar, uh,
Yeah, but yeah, Nathan Lane's wedding planner is just, yeah,
yeah,
like, can
everything you would
compete with
expect from
anything.
Nathan Lane. And yeah, we've already talked about American icon Nathan Lane, so we'll get to that. But dude, I was just thinking too, like I think last time we talked about Nathan Lane, I completely blanked on like, dude, he's the voice of Timon, like from The
Oh,
Lion
is he?
King. I'm pretty sure he was Timon, or yeah, Timon. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's like the first place I ever heard his very distinct voice.
Honestly, I don't think I've. I've never seen The
You were
Lion
probably,
King.
yeah, you were too old when it came out. Yeah.
I
And
was
then
right at that age where I was, yeah, too old.
Disney's,
I
yeah.
think Aladdin was maybe the last one I cared about.
And that
But
was like what, like 91 or something, 92. And then I think The Lion King was like 94, 95.
yeah, once I got into like seventh, eighth grade, I kind of
Right.
thought I was too old for that stuff, and I wanted to watch like Taxi Driver
Right.
or The
PG-13.
Godfather. Yeah,
Yeah.
like stuff my parents, I could convince them to let me watch because they liked it, you know?
Right. Because I was thinking, yeah, the Birdcage when I was older and like saw Nathan Lane play that iconic kind of role. And then I was like, oh, yeah, but his voice is Timon is always like the one that is infamous
Hmm.
uh, singing those songs and stuff. Um, but yeah, okay, so we got that's gonna keep coming up, listeners. Dude, Cam's fat sister is introduced in the
Pamela.
yeah, Pamaran or whatever her name
Yeah.
is.
It's Pam, but it's Pam short for Pamarin.
Yeah, Cameron and Pamaran. Uh, and honestly, dude, I don't know. I forget the actor. I never bothered to look up who the actress is. But I've always hated that character. Like every time they bring it, this is the first time she's introduced. She's been referred to before, but this is the first time we see her, and she's like part of a plot. But she comes back up in later seasons, like throughout, and she's always
Mhm.
kind of like a fuck up kind of thing that she needs like their help. Needs to stay with them for a little bit whatever
Yeah.
it is. But I don't know what it is. I always hated her, and I was trying to think about it, like in terms of, for this podcast. And I was just like, her character, it might be the first like genuinely mean character in the series,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Like she's just mean, like mean-spirited, like takes advantage of all of her family and like friends being nice to her, like and I was just kind of like, yeah, even the lighthearted character, like Gil Thorpe or something,
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like a mean-spirited character, like but like the way Rob Riggle plays him, it's almost like he's just an idiot.
Yeah.
And they usually give a point where Phil gets one over on him eventually, so like it's not like totally like an asshole all the time.
Hmm.
But they don't do that with Pam ever. And
No.
Pam is just always like a bitch, like just an awful character. And I guess that's kind of the point, but yeah, I don't know. What your thoughts on Pam? She's
I
introduced in
mean,
episode 4, I think. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so yeah, I see what you're getting at as like this like purely awful character, and it was the start of like so the whole like boss bitch stuff
Yes.
came in around this time.
And this gets into
But
Claire going back to work too. Yeah.
yeah, but Pam is white trash,
Right.
a loser. And she complains like even Cam, that's always his thing with her. It's like, oh, poor me, why can't I have this? Why can't I have that? And there's I think there was a point where they're trying to hide their marriage from her and or their engagement and um
Because she's going
I
to
don't
be
know.
awful about it and like mean to Cam about it and stuff. That's why Cam doesn't want to tell her because he knows she's going to be awful about it.
Yeah, and because they're like, oh, we have some big news for you, but they decide not to tell her, and they say the big news is like, oh, we're getting a new washer and dryer, and she's like, why don't I ever get a new washer and dryer? It always
Yeah.
turns back to her, and this is just what makes her despicable. It's just because she's always the victim. She never wants to take responsibility. And even when she does announce her engagement to like Cam's boyhood crush, this like, I don't know, some dude in Missouri that he grew up with, um,
Who I
it's
think
like the
is
one,
later played in a later season, I think by James Vanderbeek.
oh, really? Rest in
R.I.P. Yeah.
peace. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot about the later seasons. So it's just this rewatch that's kind of gotten me like, oh yeah, I remember this now. So I don't know. I probably will, but yeah, those later seasons. It's going to be a surprise for me. I
And
can't
it's like
wait.
it's a small part. It's a small part, but like Bo, that guy that they refer to who like is the heartthrob of their small Missouri town, who his
Mhm.
sister supposedly is engaged to, that does come back up in a later season. It might be next season or a season after or something. I think James Vanderbeek, some, heartthrob type actor from like the 90s is playing. I'm pretty sure it's James Vanderbeek. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look out for that. But then, yeah.
Yeah. And it's
But
small.
then,
It's like one episode and then they like write him out, like, oh, whatever.
yeah.
But
But
it's
but
funny.
even after Pam's engagement to him and telling them that news, she's still like, angry at Cam for something because her family was victimized because he left the farm or something like that. And it's just
Right.
always like, yeah, she blames him a lot for shit and never takes responsibility. So again, that kind of go like when you combine that with like a boss bitch mentality, then that's just like the worst ever. Like, okay, you can't get
Insufferable.
anything
Yeah.
done. You're always a victim because of this, but also like you're the one in charge. All right, then like this,
And
it's making no sense.
I'd be more forgiving if it was like funny, if it would like if the bits worked a little better. Because, I'm thinking like, Larry David style, asshole character, right? Like that's
Mhm.
totally narcissistic, always about himself. But that's always funny. Like it's always played in like a George Costanza style funny way.
Because he always gets his comeuppance.
Right. Yeah.
There's oh yeah.
Yeah. It screws him over being like a curmudgeon. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why it works. And then with her, it just doesn't. It's just she just gets away scot-free usually. And yeah, I don't know. I just never liked that character. Uh, and this episode 4 is the episode where Phil kills that baby bird's nest because
Yes.
he's cleaning the gutters with like a robot cleaner.
Yeah.
And
No, that's great because all the
and
like the bits after it, every time they mention like she corrects him about like it's a murder of crows, and he's like, "Don't remind me," and like
yeah.
anything about birds, like empty nest syndrome, he just like freaks out, like even though it has nothing to do with him killing those birds, he just takes it so personally. Um, and this was also so there's a mention of Alex playing Words with Friends with Jay, and that's again they always like sneak like the new craze, the
Yeah.
new technology, the new social media craze. Which Words with Friends back then, I don't know if you remember,
I barely
but
remember it back then. I remember it more around the 2015, 2016.
okay, it may have
What
been like it
after
was
the I
just
think that
starting.
was after the New York Times bought it and like made it huge for everybody.
Okay.
I think that's like because yeah, it was just becoming it was like the new hot game like Flappy Bird before that, where there was
Yeah,
just like a new mobile game you could download and everybody was like with Farmville when that became a thing.
yes. But it was also I remember Alec Baldwin like going on like talk shows or something, like being like, I'm playing Word with Friends with like as he was coming out, oh I'm sorry, don't interrupt me. I'm playing Words with Friends. Like I don't know if he was paid to do that or if he was just trying to do some funny bit. But it was
Right.
like there was this whole thing of like, I don't know, they were trying to really make Words with Friends a thing. And again, that's just like, this show is very like on top of social media trends, culture trends, tech trends. And that was one thing that stuck out that like they only mentioned Words with Friends that episode, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
And
it
you
was,
find that Alex thinks Jay's cheating.
yeah. And he just, yeah, I guess he's just better at it than her.
Yeah.
Uh,
At the end, she like tries to call him out, and then he just starts laying down big words on her and stuff. He's like, maybe you should, you're talking to one of your elders here.
Yeah, he laid that down a big sentence with like complicated words about how you shouldn't underestimate the prowess of my etymological
Yeah.
something, yeah. And then say, okay, yeah, he obviously is smarter than Alex took him for.
Right. Yeah. Alex
But
always having to be the smart one. That becomes a big thing this season too.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
we
and oh,
actually, no, go on. Yeah.
back to the Phil thing though. I just remember the gutter done. So that's what he keeps calling his like gutter cleaning device, rain gutter cleaning device, the gutter done, and thinking, it's not his invention, but he thinks, oh, they really missed an opportunity when they didn't call it the gutter done. Again, just like Phil being so proud of all his like word plays, how he might be able to improve an invention, stuff like that. That always like kind of defines him as this like dreamer, this like guy that kind
Yeah.
of lives in alternate reality a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. And
Oh, and the Gloria needs glasses
oh
this
yeah.
episode. And so Jay and Manny are trying to convince her that she needs glasses. So they pull this prank where Jay pretends that he was reaching for the trail mix, but he grabbed a handful of rat poison, and now he swallowed the rat poison, and he's about to die. And Gloria needs to read the like read the instructions on the side of the package of what to do, and and she can't read them, of course, because she needs glasses. And then, Jay's like, and I'm dead. And,
Yeah.
and then they reveal it was a prank. Yeah, no, I just thought that was like a great, that was a hilarious bit. Like, just, yeah, I was reaching for the trail mix, but I always keep it so close to the rat poison that I grabbed the wrong thing.
And they end that with that confessional, that whole episode ends because yeah, Gloria doesn't want glasses, so she starts attacking Jake for his hearing, but he doesn't want hearing aids,
Yeah.
as he's old. And then at the end of the episode, Jay's just like, well, it's perfect. Because she gets glasses and then she puts them on and she sees all of Jay's wrinkles and she's like, "What are all these lines on your face?" Like, and he like takes them off
Yeah.
her and he's like, "Maybe you don't need glasses." And he's like, "She can't see me and I can't hear her." And then Gloria's like, "We'll be together forever." That's like the final confessional of that episode.
That was another tech thing, the hearing aid, the hearing app that Haley has on her phone.
Yeah.
Like, which is kind of weird that like you just I just happen to have a hearing app on my phone.
But this was the
But
time when like the App Store, it was a bunch of dumb bullshit, like the beer drinking app where like it's a fake beer and you can pretend to drink it with your phone. Remember like that kind of bullshit
yeah.
that like people were like, "It's
So
so cool."
everyone was downloading everything just to check it out. Yeah, and see what you could do with it. So yeah,
Great.
that kind of makes sense. But yeah, another again, always yeah, always on top of the tech stuff.
And that's what makes this show such a great time capsule for again listeners for the thesis that we're putting on top is that this kind of tracks the cultural shift inadvertently just because it happened to be the most popular show on TV at the time. So of course it's keeping up with the trends and the tech and all of that, as it's happening. But then like looking back of it in hindsight, it's always easier to just see the evolution. It's slow, 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 then all at once kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dude, for episode 5, my main note for all of it is just Phil's slim fit suit. Phil in that slim fit, and this is again the trend. And some listeners to this know that I have a little bit of a hobby in menswear with this kind of thing. I've worked in menswear before in college. Uh, and dude, I've always hated this trend of the slim fit suit. I'm glad it's finally going away. But we lived this trend for like the last decade, of like the slim fit suit that's like super tight, like way too tight for like a suit.
Yeah.
And everybody was wearing this, so you'd watch, some award show or whatever, and everybody just had way too tight of a suit on. It just yeah, just doesn't. It only looks good if you have like a perfect model body. And that's part of the gag with Phil wearing it is like pulling in like weird places, and he like can't bend over. Uh,
Yeah.
but as
I
someone who has never had that type of body, I could never wear a slim fit suit, so maybe that's why I always hated the trend. But
I don't know. I never like I don't know. I always like I don't really know anything about menswear. Um, but I always seem like that those Armani like I don't like the big suits,
like the
but it
90s
just seems like
style,
those
like
like
yeah,
slimmer Armani sleek suits, like kind of black Armani suits were nice. But I mean, I don't know. I would like I I mean, I wear slim fit Dickies because I just like stuff that is baggy on me just makes me look like heavier than I am, you know?
right.
So I don't know. That's why I mean I have a pretty slim figure for the most part. So it's like I don't know. I think it looks all right on slim men. But again, like the joke was that Phil is just way too tight.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
like
no one would
super
ever get
tight.
a
Yeah.
suit that tight. That is just insane. No, like he could barely button it up. So like, yeah, that's too tight. But I don't think people who with a slim figure should be wearing like baggy suits, you
Yeah.
know.
And suits are
Yeah.
not supposed, I guess there was that trend in the late 80s, early 90s. Again, this is
Hmm.
for the menswear people that are where a looser cut or a baggier cut was the style. You know, if you look back at like 90s ads from Armani or Ralph Lauren or even Brooks Brothers or some of these brands that are, you know, big in men's suits,
Hmm.
they just had like a very baggy cut, you know, and the and stuff like that because that was just the style. And then, you know, the 2000s happened, it becomes kind of traditional. But yeah, the traditional suit is usually cut to form. It's not suit, not tight, but like, you know, yeah, is usually cut to your body. And once you see how it's supposed to fit, like you always notice when people have suits that don't fit. You see this with politicians all the time when like they have their collars like kind of coming off the back of their jacket or something when they're talking in like on
Hmm.
CNN or something. And then I'm just like, yeah, your suit doesn't fit. Or you didn't get that collar tailored down to like your back. That's why it's coming off when you sit down. It's like sitting up behind you. Um,
Yeah.
just little things like that, you know, that a lot of the gay menswear guys online is always comment on. But it's like, yeah, it is important. But yeah, it was just funny that they were making fun of the slim fit suit. Um, and that's another great fill line in that I wrote down. Uh, where he's mad because Claire isn't complimenting the suit, and he's just like, "What about this suit? All you've said is it's tight and not in a cool black way."
Yeah.
And he's like
There is
disappointed. Yeah.
there is another line in the beginning where I don't know, Phil does like a sort of a black voice. And Luke says, "That's hilarious. Maybe a little problematic, or that's one of your funniest voices. Maybe a little problematic, though." And again, you see that kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know if white people can be doing black voices thing kind of creep in a little bit.
All of a sudden,
Um,
yeah, it's creeping
yeah.
slowly, slowly, and then in a couple of years, it's going to be all at once, where we have a mass resignation of these cartoon voice actors during the Great Awakening
Yeah, from
because they
Kazarian
voiced,
Massacre.
yeah. And my other favorite gag from this episode is the Mitch and Cam in the same outfit gag.
Oh yeah.
Uh, just so great. And then again, you can tell that there was clearly like gay men in the writer's room, you know, coming up with these gags. Uh, and it's just that is so funny because this is where they start having Lily's character's changing a little bit, where she's kind of getting sick of the gays, you know, like that's like her thing. She's become this kind of like biting, like sarcastic, like rolling her eyes at her gay fathers, you know, constantly.
Yeah.
When it's just so funny when they're just like, all right, Lily, it's time to play Who Wore It Better. And they put their leg up on that table to like pose because they're in the same outfit. And like the way Cam does that is just so fucking funny. The way
Yeah.
he like puts his leg up real quick and like poses with like the outfit.
No,
Just
no.
so good.
Lily turns to Alex and says, "You better hold on. It's gonna," or um, say, "Yeah, you better hold on. It's gonna be a crazy night." And then, in reference to All About Eve, and Cam corrects her and says, "It's bumpy night. A girl with two gay dads can't make that mistake." Um, yeah, so it's sort of like, yeah, again, they kind of like poke her a little bit with all this, like, this gay stuff that she's been inundated with, that she's probably getting tired of.
Yeah,
Um,
which is a great gag too. And I might be this episode or the episode after where there's like an end scene where it's like you just see her like trying to color at the dining room table by herself and you hear like Mitch and Cam and Pepper like going back and forth in this very, you know, gay banter about the wedding and stuff.
mhm.
And they just keep showing her like getting frustrated, being like, "Oh my God, like shut up." Like I'm so tired of hearing the gays like
Yeah.
uh
One other thing I liked in five was there was so they have to leave Luke home alone, and they're not really sure how he'll be, if he's going to be safe home alone. Um, and Claire says, "Oh, what if there's an earthquake?" And Luke says, "Oh yeah, last time we had an earthquake, that cabinet fell on me." And Phil has to say, "No, it didn't," because it's a callback to a couple seasons ago where there was an episode where Phil told Claire that he had secured that cabinet to the wall where when he actually hadn't, and it fell on Luke, and he had to keep her trapped in the bathroom while he repaired the shelf. So if you remember back that far, it's like it's a funny callback.
Dude, this is the season where there's a lot of callbacks to the pre like it's the season where the show has been on long enough that they can be self-referential, you know? So that's a great example of it, referring back to I think that might be even season one or two where that happens, where like the earthquake
Yeah.
with Phil, that there's a reference back to Phil's like head scratching invention towards the end of this, which is it's very small. You
Oh
have
yeah,
to have
doing
seen
the
the
lice
whole
episode.
series. Yeah, you have to have watched the whole series to understand the reference. And there's even
Mhm.
one in that episode 6, the next one, I think, or around there, where they refer back to the condom gag in season 4, where
Oh yeah,
they're sending Haley to college with condoms, and we'll get to that when we get to the episode 6 there. But yeah, and that's not the only one. They're peppered throughout this. So like it's yeah, the show has reached a point where it's popular enough and it's been on long enough where they can self-reference these kind of previous gags, you know, and it makes the show feel more full, richer, you know, the characters feel more real, like all of that because they're referencing things that happened years ago, you know, and you saw them too as a viewer, you know.
yeah.
So it's just a new level of great writing that has come back because of these references. Yeah.
And they also mention so they're waiting for a reservation. They're going to a restaurant that serves Wagyu beef, which
Dude,
this
this is
is
when that was
again,
becoming a
this is
thing. Yeah.
that was it. And Jay's all excited because they stuffed the cow full of like wine and stuff like that. I think Manny says
Drunk
something
cow
like,
or whatever. Like,
yeah, yeah, something about a drunk cow, and Jay's like, this isn't a Far Side comic. They don't like actually like get the cow drunk or something. Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, Wagyu beef was like a thing. Oh, like everyone was talking about that. Like, oh, you have to have Wagyu beef, and now it's like you can get it in the grocery store or whatever, and it's not. I don't even know if it's like the same thing at all.
dude,
But
I hated the Wagyu beef craze too. I
yeah.
hated that
Mhm.
too, dude, because it was so expensive and everybody acted like it was the best thing in the world. And I'm just like, okay, so how is this better than like prime beef, like that like we have from the USDA grade, you know?
It didn't really taste anything different, like from what I've had.
That's what I mean, dude. Like we have a grading thing for beef in this country with the USDA, and it's similar to other countries, but whatever. I know the US stuff, listeners that are international, so whatever. But the USDA has 3 gradings for beef, right? There's choice, select, and prime. Those are the 3 gradings for the beef. And the choice is what you're going to get in most grocery stores where it says USDA choice with the sticker on it, right? And
Yeah.
then if you go to Costco or something, there are little stickers that say select or prime on them. And it's usually a little gold sticker that says select. Like I think most when people say certified Angus beef, they're talking about the middle tier, which I think is the select tier.
Hmm.
And most steakhouses are using the select tier or above anyway. So then when you go to the Wagyu, you're talking about the top tier. And like, it's for me personally, and I'm not like some, great foodie or whatever, but like I know a little bit. It's so difficult for me to really taste the difference between like the Wagyu and then like a basic kind of prime steak that you're gonna get at any kind of, fancy steakhouse, you know? There's
No,
so little
there's
difference that I could not stand this. It was just an excuse to charge like an extra $100 for the same. If you're hearing this, it's because you are listening to the free public feed of Heavy Board. To get complete, uncensored, uninterrupted, full access to this podcast, become a subscriber at patreon.com/heavyboard. That's right, Heavy Board is made possible by subscribers like you. For less than 1 cup of coffee per month, you will receive private access to uncensored, full length episodes, Jerk Shop, heavy bonus content, subscribers only AMA episodes, bonus extended interviews, and more. Come join the conversation today at patreon.com/heavyboard. Steak, basically.
No,
I'm
I
like,
mean
what's different
it's
about it? Like, oh, they raise it with the stupid shit, and like, blah. You're like, oh, they give some special feed. Yeah, I'm like, okay, shut up. Like, shut up. The beef
no,
grading
you
system is great. We already had a beef grading system, and it worked out fine. This Wagyu shit is a trend, and dude, and out here in Vegas, dude, like every restaurant, every fucking bar has like Wagyu sliders, right? So
oh
you have
yeah.
these fucking slides, so not like normal sliders. They're like normal sliders and they taste like normal sliders, but they're just like 10 times the price of normal sliders. And it's like a way to like upscale your menu. And I just hate it. It's such a gimmick, dude. I hate gimmicks.
Well, it's because like whatever they've done to it, I think it's just like gone down in price. Because I remember like a couple months ago, I found like four beef Wagyu beef patties for like $5,
Right.
like on discount. You know,
Or
it's like
they're just
well,
lying about it now. Yeah.
yeah, I just put them in the freezer, or whatever, and like but
Yeah.
that's a deal for like any beef. So I don't care if it's Wagyu, like whatever.
Right.
But no, it
Yeah.
didn't taste. Like if you want a steak, just go to Oscar's, it's
Right.
Prime or something like or whatever down here. It's like you'll get a better steak than paying like 90, $100 for the same amount because it's like Wagyu. I mean, that's uh, yeah, it was a craze that lasted a couple of years, but it's no longer a thing.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean they still sell it, but it's no longer, people don't talk about it anymore.
yeah. It's not like that. But it's funny that Jay got so wrapped up in it too.
Yeah.
And then at the end, dude, they go to the taco trucks, which
Hmm.
regular listeners have heard Eric and I bitch about the food truck craze around this time that was starting as well.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
and how terrible this back then though you could still get good food at those food trucks and not like get like $20 for a tiny taco or whatever. But I
Yeah.
guess it might be different in LA too, where it might be, you know, more of a there were taco trucks on every corner at that time.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, all right. So then episode 6, dude, The Help. We have another guest star introduced that becomes recurring. We have Andy Devine comes in as a recurring character, and he's like asexual. Uh, I was texting Eric about this. I think Andy Devine is the most asexual sitcom character I've ever seen in my life. In as Andy, his name is Andy in the show too. In Modern Family,
Well, I mean, it's just because he really, he's a manny, right? He's a male manny.
right?
So that's already like you're kind of feminine, but he's got a girlfriend, but the way he treats his girlfriend is like it's like the gayest way a guy can like it's he just the way he talks about her is always like in that like the most sensitive man, like the best little boyfriend, like
Yes,
yeah, way. And that is just presents him more on the female side, even though other than that, doesn't seem gay. So he's
right.
obviously straight. So just makes him like, yeah, very asexual, like almost a neutered male.
Yeah, and that's basically his role in this as well. As he comes up to be like this kind of goofy, like yeah, he doesn't drink even though he's old enough to, blah blah blah. Like he like eats too much pie, but like it's just yeah,
And
goofiness.
that was the other thing. He also came in and like one of his things is like, oh, I helped the previous family. I helped that guy lose like 30 pounds or whatever. Gloria definitely wants to bring Andy into her family as a Manny. And um, his whole thing is like, oh, if I could just get you moving, little things every day, just go for a walk. And that whole get moving thing, that was a
Yeah,
Michelle Obama thing. Like
yeah,
that whole, oh, you just need to, just move a little bit, like, move your arms or let like this whole. But you need to raise your heart rate, really.
Uh,
That's what that whole thing got wrong. But yeah, he was just like, oh, just move a little bit. Like this Michelle Obama thing again. That the culture, the popularity of the Obamas at the time,
yeah,
definitely coming in there.
absolutely. And that's important to, and again, it's one of those things where it was just in the milieu of the culture. So of course it's finding its way onto like scripted sitcoms at the time. But yeah, it was just something like that. And this is the episode too where we have great gay wedding planning scenes between Pepper and Ronaldo and Cam and Mitch, and then also Phil's dad sleeps with a prostitute, and
Hmm.
all like this is just so great with full of things. And this is in this episode, it's interesting because I wrote this note as I was watching. Is okay, I'm 6 episodes in. I wrote this note to myself like it seems like they have sort of put Alex and Haley specifically on the back burner so far this season,
Hmm.
where like the first 6 episodes they're basically just babysitting like their cousins, you know.
Yeah.
And that's like all they're not even giving them one-liners. But then, of course, like the very next episode, I think the kids are very involved, and I had to write a note and be like, "Oh, as soon as I wrote this, that the kids aren't being as involved, they get them, entire storylines in the next episode."
Hmm.
Makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of characters in this to give storylines to, so it makes sense. Some people shine in certain episodes and some don't. But yeah, I was just like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Huh, I wonder if it seemed like they were running out of storylines for particularly for Haley." Um,
Yeah.
and I mean they correct this in later and then even in the end of this season there's they keep going with it, but it just seemed like but maybe it was just because like yeah the wedding planning stuff was taking precedent, and since that was the through line for the whole season this season, it makes
Yeah, and it
sense.
was they were still setting up Andy, which I think they knew
Right.
something. They could do something with him and Haley. Um, but the prostitute that
Yeah.
that Phil's dad sleeps with, Fred Willard coming back.
Yeah.
He sleeps with Perry Gilpin, who was Roz on Frasier.
Oh
And
shit, here we
yeah,
go.
and so again, like this whole like I mean, this series has a connection back to Frasier and to Cheers because Christopher Lloyd. This isn't the Christopher Lloyd from
Taxi.
like Back to the Future or Taxi. It's
Yeah,
not Christopher Lloyd, which I thought it was honestly when I was watching the series as it aired.
me too.
I
Yeah,
had no idea. I really thought it was he was the producer and everything.
same. Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, learning that it's so Christopher Lloyd worked on Frasier. He was the showrunner, wrote many of the episodes of Frasier. And his dad, very famous TV writer for Mary Tyler Moore, started
Phew.
out with him, and then I think ended up at Cheers. Ran
Hollywood
that show.
royalty, dude. Hollywood
Yeah, I
royalty.
mean,
Yeah.
just wrote icon like he wrote the that clown episode for Mary Tyler Moore. He wrote the old fashioned wedding episode for Cheers, like iconic style episode. Um, but yeah, so the fact that they just got Perry Gilpin, who's great again, perfect as like a MILF, a
Yeah.
hot mid 40s prostitute, and just yeah, great. Yeah,
That's what's
she's
fantastic because she needs $500 cash. And of course, it's in the 21st century, so nobody really carries that much cash around with them, you know?
yeah.
So, like, they don't have cash and it's like a Sunday, so they can only get, and the ATMs limit you, to like 200 something or 500 per transaction. I don't know what it is nowadays.
But
Something
if
like that. But,
that was like a little plot hole because if Phil keeps money like in the pillowcase or a
right.
thousand dollars lying around the house, he should be able to have some cash.
You would
Um,
think, yeah,
yeah,
emergency cash.
but no, it's yeah, that was a great episode. Love the prostitute twist.
That was
Uh,
great with the and I wrote down a line of I was bro to Phil's dad line because it was so fucking funny when I texted Eric about this too, because Phil's like, Dad, oh my God, how did you not know she was a prostitute? And he's like, well, we had some drinks, all the flirting. And he's like, I didn't think about it. And then he's just like, oh my God, Dad, and then his dad's just like, son, have you ever felt the smooth, taut skin of a 48-year-old woman? And it's just so fucking funny, dude. Like, Uh,
Which is like, yeah, I mean, from his perspective, it's smooth and taut. Yeah. Yeah.
the smooth taut skin of a 48-year-old woman, yeah. And that's the scene where like Claire comes in, and this is another thing I texted Eric about because it was the first, I think, mention of this word in the entire series, but it won't be the last, where Claire is like upset because she finds out that, yeah, Phil's dad accidentally like slept with a prostitute and brought her into the family home,
Mhm.
where she says, I'm a progressive woman. I took a pole dancing class. I sent my daughter to college with condoms. That's the reference to the condom
Yeah.
gag. But then, like, as she says that, Phil's dad is like, "Oh, I think that just sends the wrong message." And Phil's like, "Thank you, about sending their daughter to college with condoms." But she's like, "Okay, that's not the issue here." But just the fact that Claire was referring to herself as a progressive person. I'm a progressive woman. I took a pole dancing class. This kind of the lexicon was changing and it was becoming more politically charged. As we all know, we lived through this, but I'm just saying, like, you can see it happen in this 2013 to 2014 season, especially. And dude, in this episode 6, the gay wedding planning is just great because that's the one where I think they tell Pepper that they don't like his ideas, and then the Ronaldo is like giving them great ideas, and like they feel like they're cheating on Pepper and stuff.
Ronaldo's a great character.
Yeah.
I'm glad they brought in someone for Pepper because they end up, being a couple. Yeah, yeah, Ronaldo's a great character. And yeah, they end up like really liking Ronaldo's ideas over Pepper's.
And dude, that's great too because just the way it's happening, where he's just like, I think we talk with raw linen tablecloths, like kind of like, and they're like gasping, like, oh my God, they're like they're cheating, like it's like forbidden or whatever. And he's about to leave. He's like, French bistro, stemless wine glasses. He's like, I've said too much, and they like runs out of the door, and they're like, no, Ronaldo, no. It's yeah, it's great. Very, very only this show could make that so funny. Yeah, with those characters in that situation. Yeah, with the Ronaldo guy being like the little assistant to Pepper. Yeah, great. And that keeps coming up because again, they're planning the wedding the whole series, the whole season here.
Mhm.
Dude, another one of those references, episode 7, the cold open, I think references season 1 where the kids walk in on Phil and Claire having sex.
Yeah, yeah, it
Just
does.
it's their anniversary again and the kids are giving them breakfast in bed, as kids sometimes do for that thing, but like they're like the kids are referencing it as they're like, oh, we're bringing breakfast, I sure hope
Yeah.
mom and dad aren't doing anything. And I just remember, dude, that scene is so fucking funny. I think it's in season 1 where like they walk in on the parents having sex, and Phil's we didn't even talk about it, I think, in that first episode, but Phil's reaction when that happens is so fucking funny. And again, now this is like season 1 or whatever, where like they walk in and Phil like tries to cover himself up with the sheets, and he's like naked. He's like, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Like that's just like his response. They're like all,
Yeah.
but the kids are all old enough to know. Like, yeah, he's like, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
He's like
That,
naked trying to cover himself up.
yeah, to always reassure them that nothing's happening when you scream nothing's happening. Yeah, that's
And this is the one where uh, uh, Jordan Peele guest stars. And this is Jordan
yes.
Peele pre Get Out. This is Jordan Peele pre Oscar winning director. This is Jordan Peele has a sketch comedy show with Keegan Michael Key on Comedy Central. Uh,
Mhm.
and it's great. He's great. He and Jay, the fact that they made he and Jay kind of like, and Eric and I were texting about this too. Like Eric was saying, this kind of buddy cop plot line for him and Jay throughout the episode is so funny.
Yeah.
And it works so well. Um, And this is, yeah, right after that, I was like, oh, yeah, as soon as I noticed the kids aren't being as involved, like this whole storyline involves the kids because they're at like a, local fair or something, fundraiser for the school. And so the kids are more involved.
Yeah. No, this yeah, so I guess it starts out Jay and Jordan Peele are sort of like competing for the same spot in a parking lot. And they kind of insult each other. And then it turns out that they have to be these like sheriffs for this fair, whereas people pay money to have them arrest certain people,
Right,
as a
like
joke.
members of the PTA or whatever as like a donation raising gag at this like school fair or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to, their first arrest is Claire. So they have to both arrest Claire. And so they arrest her, and it's Phil is the one that put out the order for the arrest. And, you know, Peel says to Jay, like, oh, okay, read her her rights, or what she's accused of. And Jay says, nope, can't do that, and hands it to him. And Jordan Peele says, "You are under the arrest for possession of a hot booty and unlawful sexiness." It's like, okay, you can see why Jay could not read that to his daughter.
Dude, and
um,
that end when that kid throws the snow cone on him,
yes,
that is such a great gag, and the way it plays out, Jordan Peele plays it so fucking funny where he just steps up to the kid, he's like, "Jail time, little man." And the kid just like pelts him with that snow cone and he acts like he was shot, you know? It's just so
yeah,
fucking good.
because his wife bought him his shirt, so he didn't want to get it dirty, which is
And
a
it's
running
like a
joke.
very gay, like silk shirt, you know, like
Yeah, and yeah. Jay keeps calling it his blouse.
Yeah. And it does look like a blouse, yeah.
It's sort, yeah. I mean, it's just yeah,
It's just a button-up shirt, but because it's like silk, it's like shiny and like, hugs in the wrong places and stuff.
yeah. Hugs in the nipples and kind of, yeah,
And then he gets that
baggy on the
snow cone, it
sides.
like stains it. And that's when
Yeah.
I wrote down this Jay line because Jay's had some great lines the last couple seasons where they've gotten past the buddy comedy stage and they're like care for each other now. And he's just like, uh, Jordan Peele's laying on the bench with that stained up shirt like he got shot. And Jay's just like, why is everyone just standing around? Get this man a towel for his blouse.
So
Dude,
good.
and then
The
no, please,
oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say the funniest fucking part of this whole episode is Phil wanting to sing that song for Claire.
Yes. Yeah.
And then like their like pharmacist gets up there to like pelt out this like great tune, like he's a great singer. And then Phil doesn't want to sing the song after that other guy did because it was just too good and he can't follow it. Oh, it's so fucking great.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. That part. Yeah. The pharmacist just like, yeah, belting out that song that
Yeah.
everyone erupts to, and then they call Phil on stage, and he's pretending not to hear. And then when he gets on there, he's like, like, there's a car in the parking lot. We need your attention. Like, license plate numbers, like something something C3PO or something. He says at the end. It's just like, just anything to get out of singing that song that he had planned for Claire.
And while that guy's like rocking out, like belting out this great singing, dude, like they keep showing Phil and he's doing like these looks to the camera, like, and it's so fucking funny, like leading up to it. Like,
Yeah,
just like, yeah, again, Ty Burrell just captures that uncomfortable look to the camera so fucking well. Like, he just
yeah.
like looking at the camera, like, oh my God, I can't follow this.
And the song is like it's some foreigner song, right?
Yeah, yeah. So,
It's
like, a really hard one to sing well.
it's like
Yeah.
a ballad. Oh, what was it called?
Uh,
Ah, I don't know. Something about love. It's oh
yeah.
yeah, some like crazy. Yeah, it's a good popular foreigner ballad. I can't freaking. Oh, I can't place the name. Maybe it'll come to me by the end of the show.
Yeah,
And
dude. That's just so fucking great.
goodness, God.
So fucking great. Yeah, another great one. Um,
Episode 8, though, Pam and Mitch go to Missouri.
oh yes.
Uh, this is great because this was actually talked about in the previous season. I don't know, something happened where it ended up that Mitch agreed to go to Missouri with Cam on a vacation
Right.
sometime in the future. And this is kind of the culmination of that. Like, okay, now they actually take the trip to visit Cam's family, and we meet the mom, which I don't think oh wait, no, we did meet the mom once. She visited, and that was the episode where she was like all over Mitch, like trying to
Oh,
touch
right.
him a
Yeah. Like,
bunch. And you see a little bit of that continuing when they visit here. But yeah, no, it's a great episode because they bring Lily, and she sort of like she kind of likes it there, and we see Cam's hog calling technique. His southern accent comes back.
yeah, dude, that's a great bit, the hog call. And she's like, "You want to ring the dinner bell?"
Yeah,
And then Mitch is just like, "Oh, that's so farm and cute. Like, is it a little triangle like in the movies?" Well, and then Cam just like starts calling out. He's like, "Hooray!" Like loud as shit, and the pigs start like running towards the feed or whatever. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
they show Mitch's face, and Mitch like looks at the camera. It's a great bit. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, it solidifies more of like we get some of his family had floated in the previous season, so we get a little bit of that flavor. But we visiting Missouri, it's like okay, this is like you could actually see Cam coming from this family. So it kind of solidifies that kind of more masculine image in him that has been lacking the previous seasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the way he screams and yells and runs, it's just very, very, very effeminate. And
And there's like a subtle hint that he left Missouri because he couldn't be like, a flamboyantly gay guy in like this small Missouri farm town.
yeah,
How many ever, an hour or two outside of St. Louis or one of the major cities or whatever. Uh yeah, so that works. And dude, I mean, this is important too because it's about the conflict that I mean, and again, the writers have always done this so well throughout the whole series so far. The kind of because Mitch and Cam come from different worlds, right? Like Cam and Mitch, there are several scenes throughout this season in particular, but it's happened throughout the whole season, right? Where you can tell where like one of them is like a little bit uncomfortable to
mhm,
admit that they're gay or whatever, because not because they're ashamed of it, because of the social stigma still at the time, right? So like when they're trying to be like, oh, in this particular episode, Cam is introducing Mitch to his grandmother that, is so old, and kind of, of that generation that doesn't like gays, etc. He introduces Mitch as like his friend or whatever, Bud,
yeah,
that like he has a child with or something. Like, and then, Mitch is like offended by that. Like, oh, what, we're raising a child together, we're getting married. You can't tell him that, like, oh, this is your husband.
mhm.
And then, that's important because it shows that like they were nervous, but then of course, like after the grandmother gets over her initial shock, she's even willing to come to the wedding and, loves her grandson anyway, kind of thing, even if she's judgy and uncomfortable. Uh, which I think is, you know, they didn't have to do that, right? Like I think this shows that, if this episode were done even, 4 years later in like 2016, 2017, I don't think it would have been done that way.
No,
It wouldn't have given the
no,
old, homophobic woman a redemption arc in any way, shape, or form.
no. It would have been more of a punishment for her, but
Right. She would have had a heart attack and died or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, how would you play that out in like the 2016 era when it was suddenly unacceptable for people to have redemption or growth or evolution on an issue that makes them uncomfortable. Like we
yeah,
see
I mean,
Jay and Cam's dad do at the end. Yeah.
and I mean, it's already like his mom knows and is perfectly accepting of it, and
Right.
so does his dad, and it's like they're already like in late 60s, you know,
Yeah.
like,
They
and
seem
his
older than
grandmother,
Jay, and yeah.
yeah, his grandmother must be like in her late 80s, early 90s. So we're talking about people at this time that were like born during the Great Depression. Like, I mean,
Right. Literally born into segregation and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's like you could kind of forgive them much more for being like not as progressive. And that's again one of the things I think we texted about. The word progressive comes up in this episode
Yeah. Again,
for
the
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 first
dam was
time.
broken in that, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like popping up in all of them about the progressive, and they don't say conservative is a bad thing yet. I don't even think the word is used, but that
Mhm.
progressive word is, and that's just yeah, just a subtle small thing that just shows us as we're going through this in hindsight, yeah, that like it's starting at this point. Um,
Like mainstream, because progressive
yeah,
already like I mean, there was Progressive Magazine, which has been around for a while. I
right.
mean, it's always been like kind of a more of a far leftist type thing. And
And
now it's showing up in because of the cultural conditions
And it wasn't as
in the
politically
mainstream.
charged. People would say the word progressive and progress, but like it was politically neutral still, even though it was, like you said, being used, for many years at that point to refer to a certain set of politics. It's like
Mhm.
it was still kind of politically neutral that you could say, oh, we need to progress on this issue. And it could just be like a business thing, like a business deal, literally
Yeah.
make progress on it, like
Yeah, we
it
didn't have to be
was,
like, oh,
yeah.
what type of progress did you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it gets assumed, into being this kind of explicitly political phrase. But again, it wasn't quite there yet, but it's just starting to with Claire referring to it with yeah, the Missouri being this kind of backwoods, right? They're not as up to date as the Californians, right?
Mhm.
Thing. But yeah, but again, we don't want to overemphasize that, listeners, because it's still so well done and it's so subtle and it's so still just it's always written as a joke still. It's still written as a joke in this part, in this point. Uh,
Yeah.
Everyone hates Claire at work as we get to episode 9,
Oh yeah, this is oh okay, yeah. All right, yes.
which is a great bit because she's like the boss's daughter, and it's more like she's like paranoid about it than anything else.
Hmm.
Like most people just don't give a shit. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Dylan is brought back in that episode too. They just
Haley
keep like,
Dumpty Doomy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Haley Dumpty Dome, but Haley Dumpy Doomy. Yeah. Yeah, no, that one's great just because like the plot line that stands out to me in that one is Cam, like his importance on like winning this big game.
Oh, yes, 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 yeah.
Yeah, he wants to be the only coach to win what 2 games in a row or something.
Yeah, they've had like a losing
The first
season.
2 games, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, so the coach of the opposite team died, and this team, they're kind of like, oh, should we go easy on them? And one great line, it's just I don't know. I just love the writing on this show. But he's like, so the name of the coach that died is Coach Knight, and he's like, and Cam's like, there will be no morning night tonight. There will be no morning night this afternoon, which I thought was just great wordplay. I love it. Morning, night, afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. They're also like, I think that speaks to the little. I don't want to make it too political because it's not, but as somebody who played on like football teams in high school and stuff like that, like where it was like the kids like being upset that the coach like accidentally said it's like my victory instead of our victory,
Oh yeah.
and like the players suddenly being like, "What? My victory?" Like I was just like, "All right, that would never happen in the middle of a game."
Yeah.
When we're down or whatever by 1 point and we got to kick the field goal, that's not that would never but no player would suddenly be like, wait a minute, this is about you and not us. Like
No,
no,
they know
there's
what you
that
mean.
never
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although maybe nowadays, I don't know. I'm about to have a son here in a couple months, and it's gonna be years before he's playing football. But we'll see if it's changed since I played when it gets to that level.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's always funny. And again, just yeah, the football plot lines keep coming back up because of that. Uh, Christmas episode 10. Oh, do we miss anything?
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Dude.
Christmas episode, episode 10, and this one's a little bit different.
Hmm.
Whereas we're not seeing a Christmas celebrate, although we do see it at the end, like a Christmas morning together with all the family at Jay's house. But it's another great little gag. Like, dude, my favorite part of this is the Cam and Lily at that charity Christmas thing when they don't realize it's a charity Christmas thing. They think it's like an event.
Hmm.
They don't understand it was for like poor people or whatever to get like a little Christmas cheer and see Santa and get a gift and stuff.
Yeah.
And Cam getting that hot chocolate at like the free hot chocolate stand, and he's like, can I get a little more whipped cream? Like, and they're like giving him an extra dollop of whipped cream, and he's like eating the cookies. And he's like, the food here is not great. And then he like suddenly
Yeah.
realizes that it's like they're giving out coats and things to these little kids because it's like for poor, like dirt poor people.
Yeah.
That is such a great gag.
I so this episode was directed by Bryan Cranston.
Oh,
Interesting. He directed one last season, I think, also.
yeah, and I
I
guess
think he
this
may
would have
come back.
been towards. I mean, Breaking Bad was still in the air this time. It must have been the final
Mhm.
season was airing
Yeah.
in 2014. I think spring of 2014 was the final part two of the final season, or
Yeah. Mhm.
something like that. Listeners can correct us, but I know he had started directing Breaking Bad episodes, so maybe he was just kind of directing TV episodes and stuff. I don't know. I didn't pay attention when I was rewatching Malcolm in the Middle, but he probably directed a few episodes of that too towards the end. Because after a certain point on sitcoms, I think The Office and stuff was doing this, where like all the actors were also producers and they were like directing episodes,
No,
things
I
like
mean, when
that.
you're an actor, it's like you kind of maybe want to have like a backup career a little bit. And I
Yeah,
think sometimes it's like, all right, they try directing and either they
and
love it and they want to do more of it, or like they'll just kind of do it occasionally just because they sometimes, want
and
to do it.
as
But
somebody who's into film, it's understandable that like if you're already working in one part of film, like of course you probably love directing, and if your whole life followed directors and stuff, so of course you want to try it when you get a chance. Didn't like Ethan Hawke just started directing a bunch of stuff, and
Mhm.
it's just, yeah, of course you want to try your hand at something that you've always admired, even though you're known for being like an actor and not a director, but still, yeah. Um, another thing about this Christmas episode that I noticed was it's the episode where Phil is trying to use that elliptical machine,
Yeah.
and
Go to
like
Canada.
travel to Canada, like as many miles as it takes to Canada.
Yeah.
And there's a line that Phil says that I thought was a little bit more direct political reference, where it says, he says, I can smell the bacon and the reasonably priced medicine.
Hmm.
Uh, and I was just thinking, that was the first time I noticed a direct political reference. Obviously, progressive had come up and I noticed that already. But like, I was just thinking, yeah, to Canada, this was the Bernie, not quite yet, but it was just starting to be the kind of, oh, Canada has better healthcare than the United States because it's more socialized or something,
Yeah. No, yeah,
as like a
this
talking point. And like
the
it
lead
just
up
it
to that.
casually spaced in there as a joke, and it works as a joke, because again, we're going back in hindsight putting our thesis over this. So I'm sure they weren't thinking this at the time. It was just a bit that they wrote, in the writer's room. But I was just thinking, here it is. Yeah. Reasonably priced medicine,
Hmm.
Canadians, whatever, like the kind of. But yeah, just a small thing that I noticed. I was like, another little bit. And that's a great bit too, because Phil is just, I mean, Ty Burrell's just great. That's another one of those end credits where they have him doing like confessional cams, like as he's like trying to,
Yeah.
and then he gets off the elliptical and he's still walking like he's like on it. That's great too. He's like, how did I
Yeah.
used to walk? And he's like
Yeah.
walking like he's on the elliptical still. Uh,
Um,
but then it always comes back to this wholesome ending. Like I was just
mhm.
thinking, like, because I think that's the same episode where Gloria is jealous because Claire and Gloria's mother are getting along really well in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and then
Gloria's mother
like
visits.
and it's like Claire's disappointed because her mother's crazy and ignores them and doesn't show up to anything. And I don't know why they had that happen. I mean, it works in the story, but I wonder if like Shelley Long was like refusing to come back or something, or like wanted more money, and they were just like, okay, well, we don't need you.
There was something weird. So just to address the Shelley Long issue,
Oh yeah, here we go.
again, Cheers. alumnus,
Yeah.
so it's kind of
Yeah.
how they get it. During the final two episodes where Cam and Mitch get married, they asked Shelley Long to come back, but according to the producer, she gave an odd reason why she couldn't make up, you know, go out to the and film the
Right.
show. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what happened between them. And I guess the producer just kind of gave like this vague reason that, I mean, I don't know. It could have been financial. It could have just
Right.
been a personal reason. But yeah, it
And
was
you don't
very
want to put
weird.
anybody on blast, especially somebody you work with professionally. It's kind of a professional answer to be a little vague about, why you didn't get along artistically or something.
Yeah, because she doesn't, I don't think she shows up for the rest of the season. So, yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, it is. Yeah, that was, I guess, an issue. So they weren't going to bring her back. So it's like, yeah, you got to bring in Gloria's mother to make, something happen. You need like in-laws plots in
But then I
there.
just thinking like, yeah, that end of the episode, it's always wholesome, like we've been saying. It goes
Mhm.
back to their opening gifts at the end of the episode, and like Claire has, everybody has more meaning behind it. Just yeah, beautifully written, and again, wholesome, pro family, pro kind of loving your family too, for all their flaws and stuff. Uh, that's great because yeah, the thing in the episode is Claire always gets the same pair of slippers from her mother every year. And Claire thinks it's because she doesn't care, and then Gloria tells her that maybe she should think of it differently.
Yeah.
Uh, and then like yeah, and then Claire does, and it's like more wholesome. I'm like, yeah, this is, and she's like her stepmother basically, Gloria, like giving her some motherly advice. And this is around the time, dude, in the 10 episodes in when I finally noticed that they updated the intro this season.
Mhm.
It didn't change or anything. They just have, the kids aren't little in it anymore. They're like the age that they are in this
Yeah,
season.
I think they reshoot every season.
Yeah, to like
Right,
update it. And this one was just where it's obvious because the kids are like full on into puberty now. This is also the season where Alex Dunphy's huge knockers come in. Uh,
yeah. And also, coincidentally, the season where Luke and Manny are more interested in boobs than
yeah,
ever. Yeah, it's a big, yeah, reference in a lot of episodes. It's just Luke is
yes.
obsessed with boobs.
Luke and Manny's adventures are like are great for them, like being like a buddy comedy duo for these
Yeah,
last season and this season, and probably in the next season too. But I haven't rewatched that in a while, and it was yeah. So that's great. And I noticed first too because it's weird because I guess she's supposed to be like a junior in high school, so she's supposed to be like 16, 17, the character. But I guess it's been like the show's been on for like on the air for like 5 years, so she's probably like almost 18 or 19 at this point, the actress, or I don't know.
oh yeah, I think she's like 20 by
Yeah, yeah.
no, she's yeah, no, she's of age. We can
Uh,
comment on her huge knockers
on her huge
without
knockers.
being rude.
And it's just funny because yeah, you cast it as a little kid, but then like 5 years later, like through puberty, it's just like all, and you can tell that like they were trying to compensate with it at first because she's supposed to be like, the unsexy sister. So they
Yeah,
were putting her in like big nerdy sweaters and stuff, but then it just gets to a point where it's just those knockers are so huge, like there's no hiding them, like there's no like trying to make her be like the less attractive sister or something.
yeah.
Uh
No,
sh
yeah, you can't really hide them. But they also didn't really like. No one really commented on them in the show.
yeah, nobody
There
does.
was no
Yeah.
reference to them, but I mean, everyone could see it, and I don't know. Yeah, but it wasn't like a Punky Brewster situation.
If it were on Fox, they might have made some good jokes about it. Like if it
Yeah,
were like Married with Children, but since it's on ABC, it was yeah, you couldn't comment on the 17-year-old daughter's like becoming sexy after. Um, but yeah, I was just all right. We have to talk about that because that becomes like all of a sudden too
Oh
Like it's
yeah,
like from
yeah.
one
No,
season to the
you
next.
can't
Yeah.
not notice it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
yeah,
you're like, why is Alex so much sexier this season? Like you're
yeah.
like all of a sudden, yeah.
And, I mean, they cover him up, but like, I mean, by wearing a sweater, so it's like, all right, you could still, you don't see any flesh, but
Especially when she's like
you could
standing
tell.
next to Haley, like in a scene or something,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, yeah,
Hmm.
Alex grew up. I didn't have any much. What was episode 11? I didn't even have anything for episode 11.
Um, oh, he with Phil takes Luke to a dance class, but
Oh,
he
right.
passes it off as being like an autopsy class. Um, and oh yeah, Phil gets arrested, and that's when Claire has to like find the money that's hidden somewhere in the house. So they go through like Phil's like what do they call them? Mnemonic devices to
Yeah.
try to remember where things are located. And it turns out that it was in the pillow because uh so you got to find the money. So that's cheddar, and that rhymes with Hedda. And where do you rest your Hedda? A pillow. So
Yeah.
and that was his device for remembering that it was in a pillow. But he would change this up like apparently every month. I don't know if they. I'm curious to see if they ever go back to that, ever reference it in a later episode, because that would just be pretty funny. Like you very easily could, you need some extra money. Oh, okay, and bring in those mnemonic devices. But
Yeah, and it's
I guess that was all I kind of.
yeah, it wasn't there weren't as like many funny bits in that, but the funniest part is like Phil getting arrested for Haley's parking tickets or whatever that she
Yes.
didn't tell anybody about, and Phil's like acting like he did like hard time, but he was just like in the holding cell for like a few hours until they like sorted it out and
Yeah.
paid the tickets, like yeah.
Yeah, Ken and Mitch they're trying to find a wedding venue, and it turns out like some 16-year-old girl that Cam teaches is booked the venue.
For a
So they gotta,
quinceanera, yeah.
yeah, so they gotta like do something. But other than that, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was just Phil was the big plot line in that.
And then episode 12, Under Pressure, where we have Jesse Eisenberg guest starring
Dude, that is
as a
one of
climate
my
obsessive. Yeah.
so perfect. So perfect. I mean, they could not have cast that better.
Yeah.
Just like the annoying fucking oh
He's really good at playing an asshole too. Like it's like one of
yeah,
the best things he plays. That's why he was so good as Zuckerberg in the social network.
yeah,
Uh
like the deadpan snide
yeah.
asshole. Yeah,
Yeah. Like I'm smarter than
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Doesn't yell just like that. Fucking just yeah, with his
Oh,
words.
gas guzzler, huh? Like yeah. He's like, oh, I have solar panels. And then he's like talk because it's like his neighbor, it's like Mitch and Cam's neighbor, and he's like judging them for not being too eco-friendly.
Yeah.
And like Cam, like Lily is just like, my dad says your yard looks like cat litter because he's got like a desert landscape yard, which is, again, Eric and I live out here in the desert, listeners. And this is at a time when this was just starting, dude. The eco concern as a personality.
Mhm.
And it's at a point where, yeah, we're living in Las Vegas here now. It was just a few years ago where we have lawns are banned. You cannot have a lawn. They've started restricting the sizes of pools. All of this, like it's all these kind of environmental restrictions have becoming, full force all over the country now.
Yeah.
But like this was just the beginning of that, and it is so. That's what's so great too, is because it's considered a joke, right? The punchline is that this guy, Jesse Eisenberg's character, is annoying, right? And overdoes it and is like has impossible standards for being like eco-friendly.
Mhm.
Like you just can't be that eco-friendly and also be like a participant in the modern world. Uh, but yeah, that's great. Um,
Yeah. No, I mean, he just does a great job of playing like that better. I'm better than you, environmentalist.
he
Like
like
has to
rides his
come over
bike
and
everywhere. Yeah.
criticize you. Yeah, yeah, rides his dumb bike. Uh, and like, I mean, he's talking to Mitchell, who is like an environmental lawyer. right? He's studying environmental law, like he thinks he's doing the right thing, but this environmental lawyer is just like, oh, you're watering your grass.
Yeah.
Should you really be doing that? And then, she like, yeah, makes a comment about Lily, like, oh, she's so cute. I remember when she was in disposable diapers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Dude,
yeah,
and dude, that is one thing too, dude. Somebody that's going through a lot of diapers right now at this point in my life. I mean, not me personally, listeners, but I have little kids, and it's just like, dude, I don't know how people did it pre-disposable diapers. Like, like anybody that chooses to go cloth diaper in today's day and age or whatever, like reusable diaper, uh, you're a fucking freak. Like, I don't know how the fuck you managed to do that. Like, do you know how many fucking changes you have to do a day?
yeah.
Like, and how much stinky shit that like you have to wash out of those used. Like, it's just everybody's life is easier. The
I,
baby's life is easier. Your life is easier if you just have the disposable diapers, like the single-use diapers.
well, I mean, they were like sort of a thing of the past, like the cloth diapers.
Yeah, I remember I had them when I
Like
was a
there
baby. My
were,
mother used them because they was
yeah.
still like a
So
cheaper
did
option. Yeah.
so did my mom. Yeah, she used like a combination of the two, and
They
it
had a
was just because
service. My
they
mom
had a
said she had a service. They would like pick
yep,
up the
yeah.
dirty ones and launder them and drop off a sack of fresh ones. Yeah.
That's exactly why. Like there were services available. It was very common. Like there were
Eric and I were both born in the 80s,
yep,
if you didn't know, listeners.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like all these services were available, and like yeah, you just got a laundry service. You didn't have to do them yourself. You just threw it in the bag and handed it off, and that was it. It
Dude,
was
my
very
mom has
simple.
stories about like that bag stinking like on the front porch, like because
Oh
it's like a week's worth of baby shit like sitting in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it was easy back then, and now, I mean, I'm sure there are some services available,
They
but
don't
it's
exist, dude.
not they not
Because my
really.
mom tried, she was like looking for things for us, having our first baby like almost 2 years ago now, and it was like, she was just in that service, just she couldn't find anything that does a service like that with reusable. There's like some that you could just order online and do like auto ship, and that's what we've been doing for like the
Yeah,
last year and a half, but like makes it a little bit easier. Still have to run out and get some every once in a while if you run out in between like shipments, but it's like, yeah, they just don't do services like that. So the more eco-friendly service just doesn't exist anymore, with diapers.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know, in like New York or LA, there may be like one
Right.
or like indie one that pops up, but it's not going to be a big enough. People are just like, no, disposable diapers. Like it's just easier. That like rather than calling someone, having them come over.
Dude, just
And
soaking the shit out of those cloth diapers. Like, no, thank you, dude. Like, that's just another, not even that, like, oh, the smell and how gross it is. Like, that's not even what it is. It's just the amount of time it would take that you have to clean shit out of these things just to, like, put them back on the baby to have them shit in them again. Like,
yeah,
it's just like, it's like, that's like, Victorian labor compared to, like, what we're used to nowadays. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
you might as well be washing laundry in like a basin with a washboard, like, because that's basically what it is.
down the river.
But this under pressure episode is also Luke and Manny have a great buddy thing here, and they've that continue this from last season where they're trying to hit on girls and stuff.
Hmm.
And Luke and Manny really work best as the kind of buddy comedy style with that because yeah, they're good, teenage boys. They're obsessed with hitting on girls and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they date these twins, right?
Yeah, the twins. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they like make out at the she's like, my parents aren't home if you guys want to come over. And they
yeah,
cut to a confessional and Manny's like, I'm not proud of what happened next. And Luke's just like, I am.
yeah. And there's one in the beginning when Manny's like, you know what? Me and Luke don't really have too much in common as far as girls go or what we like. And Luke says, I like to call my type gettable. Which I thought was great, which was like, yeah, dude, I get you.
And the other thing about
um,
this episode that isn't so much funny, but it's Alex's therapy session takes up a huge part of this episode
yes, yeah,
about the pressure that she puts on herself. and all of that. And I mean, we mentioned this in season four, where therapy culture is partly due to social media, partly due to everything that was just kind of, happened to be changing at the time. Therapy culture is becoming full blown to the point where we're having one character, every time they show up in this episode, they're in therapy, talking to the therapist about their family or whatever, and all of that stuff. Uh, Again, nothing that like is like a great bit or something, but it's just like therapy culture's here, baby. It's here. And the show's reflecting that.
And also, this was a school open house, and I love the bit that Cam was trying to do, where he was like, "Oh," he was talking to Andy Daly again. Again, this is just like Andy Daly also makes the scene very funny. And Cam is pitching his idea for what he's going to do for the parents at open house, and he's like, "I'm going to have dodgeball," and he puts on his cowboy hat and it like a silver star badge, and was like, "My name's Cam, and I'm the sheriff around these parts. I'm the sheriff of Dodge."
Yeah.
He points to the ball. Like it's just and and then they flash forward. He's got his class going. He's reading all this boring stuff to the parents, and they're just not interested. And he's like, I want to play dodgeball. Like, I want to play dodgeball. This is not my idea. And they think it's a great idea. And he tries doing that bit, like, oh, hold on. Let me
And
get my
it's like a
hat.
war
Let
between the
me
two
jump start.
moms. It's a
Yeah,
war
and
between
then
Gloria and that guest star who's from 30 Rock.
Jane, something. Is it Jane Krasinski? No,
S-
that's
Uh,
it's something. The
she's
blonde
in,
chick from 30 Rock.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, and that's great too. Yeah, where they end up in a war, and then they end up like Cam has to end up breaking them apart from fighting, and he's screaming like a girl as he's doing it,
And then they all have to
as
be in
he's
the
got like the
principal's
cowboy hat
office.
on.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's that's a really great episode.
And then we have episode 13, where Jay's feelings become like a bigger subject, of course, because of therapy culture.
Yes.
But the best part about that whole episode is Cam and Mitch in the restaurant with that couple that's like proposing. It's
One of the
so
greatest
fucking great.
bits
Yeah.
in this season. Yeah, I love that.
And it's funny because it's
Um,
also a commentary on like a lot of like nice restaurants in like a major city where you're seated so close to the table next to you that you might as well be at the same table?
yeah, I hate that shit so
Yeah,
much.
dude, it is so awful. Like, yeah,
It,
it's
you used to get like booze, like
yeah.
and like tables far away from each other, and now it's just like the
Where there was
space is
like
so.
enough room for a waiter to get all the way around your table. That's usually what it would be until like the hot restaurants were becoming a thing. I guess this is always a thing in like New York City or something where there's like, confined space for some of these restaurants or whatever. And that's been
Yeah,
like a running gag in
not in LA, not in
yeah,
LA.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was bigger restaurants in LA. New York, I get, but LA. No, it's just because everyone wants to make a restaurant out of like, just a small space. So they'll put all the tables together and we've just gotten used to it. That's
Even at
that's what
like
it is.
Cheesecake Factory now, dude, if you sit in like the bar or something, dude, like those tables are so fucking close to each other now.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
It's
high
crazy.
tops.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or even there's like that small section where it's the high tops, the bar, and then there's like a section along the wall, usually at most Cheesecake Factories with like smaller tables.
Mhm.
Dude, those are so right up against each other. Like you can hear like everything the table next to you is saying and stuff. Like it's yeah. So that's funny, but also like Cam and Mitch ruin this couple's life, like
Yeah,
by like getting too involved.
and they try to like they do their best to try to avoid it, but it's just like one of the things where it's like, oh, no matter how hard you try, sometimes it's not gonna work out. Like,
It's also kind of a little bit feminist that the woman says no to the proposal.
yes,
It's
yeah.
like this first kind of political, we don't need men type thing. Like, I mean, dude, like I have never heard, even if the engagement didn't work out, like they didn't end up getting married,
Mhm.
which is I've had some friends that happened to, but it's also like I've never actually seen that happen or like heard a story of it happening where like a guy's getting down on the knee and showing you the ring and asking you, and the woman just says no.
Yeah,
Like
same.
that's
I've
that's a
never heard
such a
that.
like that never happens usually because one, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe it happens with like, I don't know, Sofia Vergara type people, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, not some sort of like, seven that has like a, you know, marrying a guy who's got a pretty good job, decent looking, like
They've been together
everything
for a
you've
few
been going,
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've been together for a while. It's like, yeah, you're just gonna say yes, and if things come up, then you're gonna break off the engagement.
Right.
That's
Because
yeah.
usually in the moment to say no would, one, it spoils everything and it probably ruins your relationship in that moment going forward anyway if you said no. Like, even if you want to
Yeah.
wait a couple years before you get married, but just to say no in that scenario is very kind of like a feminist fiction. I don't know. I just kind of, again, I don't want to read too much into that because it's written as a good bit and it's funny and it's kind of unexpected because of that. That's why it makes it funny. But just slightly, I was like, oh, this kind of feminist thing where that was
Yeah.
happening too, right? Like, yeah, like this kind of
I don't need a
fuck
man.
men.
Like,
Yeah,
what about my career? And maybe I could do better. So yeah, then maybe I could do
exactly.
better.
You could do
Uh,
better.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
This was the start. And again, it more coincides with social media than politics, but everything's just so wrapped up in politics now that it
Mhm.
became a part of politics that like yeah, it just became this kind of men are disposable. Again, it's always been there, so I don't want to overemphasize it. I always make the reference to, sugar and spice for snails and puppy dog tails, right?
Yeah.
That has been in our lexicon for centuries, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
we get it. Yeah, we get it. Men are the ugly ones or whatever, and women are beautiful and perfect. We get that. Everybody kind of, whatever. But yeah, just this is just a subtle little bits. And I think this happens a little bit with Claire working too, going back to work. Not so much this season, but there are like little references, where she's like trying to impress her daughters about like, hey, I'm a working mom.
Yeah.
Just things like this, these subtle kind of feminist things that have come and become so normal now. Yeah, it was just starting to become like this norm uh, at that time. I don't even think that was a Valentine's Day episode, was it? Or it was?
No,
No,
no, it wasn't. I mean, but I mean, so Jay and Gloria had over Shorty and his new wife or fiance,
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, who I early crush for me,
Oh yes,
definitely.
dude, the
Uh,
Liar Liar era, Jennifer Tilly, the Bride of Chucky, Jennifer Tilly.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, I was into so first time I saw her. So I was a big Woody Allen fan when I was a kid. My mom got me into him. And so I've been seeing ever since I think Manhattan Murder Mystery was the first one I saw in the theater, but I had seen every Woody Allen film since then. And I went with my mom to Bullets Over Broadway, starring Chaz Palminteri and Jennifer Tilly. John Cusack was in it also. But yeah, so I loved the fact that they were reunited here because they both won Oscars for that role in Bullets Over Broadway. And it's just a great combo. And she was, I mean, when I saw her on screen, her voice,
the
her
Voice.
face,
Yes, yes,
her tits,
yes.
that's, it's just,
The Voice is
she's
a big one,
so
dude.
sexy.
Yeah. And since I'm a little bit younger, my first exposure to her was, yeah, the Liar Liar in the 90s and
Yeah.
then the Bride of
Yeah.
Chucky stuff that was happening when I was a kid. And just her voice was, there's something so sexy about it that just like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, and it's right in that
It's that
borderline
baby
between
doll voice.
annoying and
Hmm.
like, yeah, it could be annoying if it was on the wrong person, like Fran Drescher. Uh,
Hmm.
but for Jennifer Tilly, yeah, it was just something about her that yeah was just stuck in every boy's head now for like yeah,
And because she's been in like everything, she's in
yeah,
so much stuff. Like I remember, you know,
and all of
after
her
Bullets Over Broadway.
characters were very sexually charged
Yes.
characters. Yeah,
Very much like the baby doll, like kind of like character that just seduces every man. Like with that voice, she is something else. And so to see her like in what 2013 this
Yeah.
was. Just still looking so sexy, sounding so sexy. It was great, and to see her back with Chaz Palminteri, it was like, okay, great. Like they kind of, they had to know what they were doing when they paired them together.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
where you're bringing back two Oscar winners to kind of reprise you know, Chaz Palminteri's kind of always played himself in films,
Right.
just like and so is Jennifer Tilly, like the sex pot and the Italian, the kind of sleazy Italian guy.
Yeah.
And that's what that was. And so, yeah, they want to move to Costa Rica, and Jay is just like, oh my God, this isn't going to work out. I can't let my friend do this. And he gets in a big fight with Shorty, Chaz Palminteri.
If you're hearing this, it's because you are listening to the free public feed of Heavy Board. To get complete, uncensored, uninterrupted, full access to this podcast, become a subscriber at patreon.com/heavyboard. That's right, Heavy Board is made possible by subscribers like you. For less than 1 cup of coffee per month, you will receive private access to uncensored, full-length episodes, Jerk Shop, heavy bonus content, subscribers-only AMA episodes, bonus extended interviews, and more. Come join the conversation today at patreon.com/heavyboard.
And yeah, again, his emotions, him talking about how Shorty was there for the birth of his son and wouldn't leave for days, just to make sure he was all right. And he kind of reflects, again, yeah, that therapy culture was leaking in,
Jay's
and God,
reluctant to talk about that, tell his friend that he loves him,
yeah. Just like later on when he wants to have Stella as a show dog, he's like
Yeah.
reluctant to, show anyone his like, true self.
And it's
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
also funny because they make it a joke again because it's so well written, like this kind of when at the end when they make up and they're like he's like, oh, what really what it was is why I was giving you a hard time was because I'm gonna miss you, you're my best friend and you're moving away.
Yeah.
And Jay's like crying where he's like, I'll give you a call, and Jay's like, every day, buddy, every day, and he's like hugging him or whatever. And then
Yeah.
like they're all watching him from like around the corner, and then they're all like disgusted at how emotional Jay's getting.
Yeah.
Like it's just very typical of how that's like men need to show their emotion, but when men show their emotion, everyone's disgusted.
Yeah, because they shouldn't show their emotion like that. Like, yeah, yeah. You find a different way to say it, like normally, and that's again, they're kind of acknowledging that creep of um, that therapy culture into society,
Yeah.
and also eh, proposing those like honest reactions to it, which is like, oh, I don't know, this
Yeah.
is uncomfortable, this is disgusting. Just like Jay's reaction to gay marriage or being gay, like they still show, they still manage to show that opposite reaction
Yeah.
and present it in a comical manner and still keep the show funny.
And make it more endearing for the character that he's having a hard time with this, but you still love him as a character and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this happens. I didn't have much on episode 14, but I Spy, it's called. That's the one where there's like a plot line where everyone's not trusting their spouse and they're going through phones and things. Kind of a plot
Yeah,
line.
this was not like my favorite of the season. I okay, the calf implants,
Yes,
uh,
that's great.
because that wasn't like again, uh, at this time, and even a couple of years later, this would catch on. The calf implants were becoming a thing where men wanted to have big calves. I don't really understand this trend. Like I work out, I like, but men want to have abs and they want to have um, some arms that aren't weak. That's pretty much it. That's why everyone hates leg day or whatever, but people do it. But no one's like, I don't know, like men don't want to have like, aren't aiming to have like a good butt. like all this like
It's
culture
it's a
shit tells
gay
us.
it's a gay thing.
Calves.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The gay
So
men want good butts. Yeah.
yeah, and they want thick calves, and it's like I I don't know. I have pants on most of the time. Like you can't tell anything when people are wearing pants, really. It's your shirts. Like you want them to fit well to show like you have like maybe abs or like arms that are like but no one's concerned with the lower body. So that was funny. But yeah, other than that, there was zombie parkour was the name of this movie that the kids Manny and Luke were filming with their friends, and again the zombie revival of that era was big.
Oh
Walking
yeah.
Dead was probably just starting. World War Z,
Oh
the
yeah.
Day of the Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, those remakes were already out, popular. Everyone was into zombies and parkour again. Parkour was very new at that time.
And it was
You
like the
know,
GoPro era, so people would do parkour and like film it as a like POV
yeah.
and put it on
And
YouTube and yeah.
yeah, and Phil had a drone, right?
Yeah.
This was the beginning of the drones, so that's mentioned again. Yeah, I mean, I guess this episode like introduced a lot of tech, a lot of like new uh, stuff that society clinged on to, like zombies and parkour. Um,
And for Haley for this episode, Haley is depicted as doing the college dropout millennial thing
yes,
of like trying photography.
yeah,
Dude, literally every girl I know did this like at this time too, dude. Like literally every single one. And it was right at like the film, digital overtaking film entirely at this point, you know? So these every girl I knew that like millennial girl at this time had like some expensive digital camera, you know, with the fancy lenses. Because
yeah,
this is like right before the iPhone was doing all of these kind of HD style photos and everything. So you
yeah.
still needed the real equipment to take like a serious photography photo, and like they show like the ending is like a bunch of a collage of all these photos that she was taking of the family, and it's endearing and all that. But I just started laughing at that. I was like, yeah, it's definitely what every millennial like college girl was doing at that time.
Yeah, no, it's just like because the photos are just like, oh, look at these like candid photos of normal people doing normal shit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah,
except the one photo that made me laugh was like, I mean, it was Claire staring at Sophia's cleavage, or I'm sorry, Gloria's cleavage.
yeah,
And it's the parody of the Sophia Loren and Jane Mansfield photo where Sophia Loren is staring at Jane Mansfield's cleavage. And it's a like famous photo. It's been everywhere, but and it's hilarious. But it's sort of like, okay, don't pretend that that wasn't like fabricated, like you didn't like make that happen or something. I don't know. It was kind of an odd thing to throw in there, but I get it. Like they're trying to have fun. They're trying
yeah,
to have
yeah, yeah. And I
that's
just, it's
that's all.
funny. Yeah, even now, it's funnier now. Even yeah, going back and
Yeah,
looking at it. Um,
yeah. But if you look at that like Sophia Loren, Jane Mansfield photo, it's like yeah, it's the exact same thing, and it's like, funny that they parodied that. I like it.
um, the feud episode 15 is Gil
Yes.
Thorpe is back with Rob Riggle
Yeah.
uh doing it and Phil having to watch Luke suck at wrestling. That's a
Mhm.
great bit where he and Jay are sitting there in the stands watching him suck. Like
Yeah,
uh
and Jay has a nemesis. It turns out
yeah.
that catches him at all the wrong moments, just like Gil catches Phil at all the wrong moments. And eventually culminates. It turns out that Jay's nemesis is Phil's nemesis's father.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gil's father is this I think John Hurd, who's actually a very very famous film star. Another big guest star that they get plays. Gilthorpe's father.
I think he barely has a speaking line too.
Yeah, it's always him reacting and just laughing.
Yeah, Jay sitting at that lemonade stand is great. Yeah, the pucker up with the red
Yeah.
lips. And that guy just like sees him and shit starts laughing. Uh, yeah, that's great. And that's also the episode where they reference the head scratcher back from like 2 seasons ago or something.
Yeah, because I guess one of the through lines is that someone at Lily's school has lice. So it turns out Lily gave lice to Claire, and now she needs that head scratcher thing. And one of the great things is at the end, Gilthorpe knocks on Phil's door and just to apologize or something because of
He like
what happened in
feels
the
bad.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Phil's like, oh yeah, no problem. Oh, that's my niece Lily, and she loves piggyback rides. And Lily gets up on his back, and like this is before she's been deliced, and he's just like Phil's just like rubbing their heads together,
And
like
like looking at the camera. Yeah,
yeah,
it's great.
that's one of yeah, that's the funniest scene from that episode. Yeah,
And Rob Riggle has no idea. He thinks he's like playing with children, like being a nice guy or whatever. Yeah, and he plays it that
yeah,
way. It's great. Uh, yeah, that's great. And then the Spring a Ding Fling, the dance one, episode 16.
yeah.
We have the first mention of white guilt.
Yes, when
And
Mitch
again, it's a
joins the law
joke. Yeah,
firm.
it's a joke and it's a funny joke, right? Like it works and like it's well done. But I was just like, whew, these phrases are popping up suddenly, you know?
Yeah. No, so yeah, Mitch joins a new law firm because he quit his old job a few episodes previously. I think during the Cam's big football game episode. Um, so his new law firm is from an old college buddy, played by Aisha Tyler, who is funny. She's
Yeah.
hot. Also, she is funny. She did. I think she used to be on like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes. Yeah.
She does like voices for Archer, that cartoon. But she's good, and yeah, there's a whole thing where Mitch enters the law firm and he sees a picture of her and is it Michelle
Michelle
Obama.
Obama. Yeah.
And and he's like, "Oh, is that you and Michelle Obama?" And she's like, "Oh, no, that's me and my mother." And he's like, "Oh, my God, so sorry." And she's like, "I'm just joking." And that's where that white guilt
Yeah. She says, calm
joke.
down, white guilt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, hmm
And again, it's
yeah,
funny. It works perfectly in the scene and it's well written. It's you don't even think about it. But I was, going back, I was like, oh, that's the first mention of white guilt in this entire series. Considering all the
yeah,
cultural clash that we've talked about so far too, that it hasn't come up. It's because the language was changing. This is 2013 into 2014. The language is changing around this stuff to
yeah,
reflect the Great Awakening. But yeah, just and again, yeah, it works out great, and the sitcom aspect of it, where like Mitch doesn't like confuses the situation and thinks she's like this awful bitch boss,
yeah,
but it's like it's just him, like he's not understanding the situation, and that's hilarious.
yeah.
Also, dude, Cam's rivalry in this episode with like the other gay teacher that like comes
Oh,
back
Will
from sabbatical.
Sasso.
Yes, yes.
Will Sasso guest star from Mad TV. That's kind of all I know him from. Which I mean, the great eras of Mad TV. He was,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great show, and he is amazing in it. But yeah, this I was glad to see him as Cam's rival. Oh, he's so good.
Yeah. And like the dance, like, cause like Cam started working at this school and like this guy was on sabbatical and he like comes back, like, and Cam doesn't know who he is, and it's like the other gay teacher, like the world isn't
Yeah,
big enough for the two of us kind of thing. So Cam wants to be the gay teacher and not this guy. He's like the Spanish teacher. They call him like Senor or something.
Yeah.
And he like is always saying things in Spanish to like the students and stuff. And like that dance off they have
Mhm.
is great. Uh
And I love how Claire tries to get like Alex to make out with her boyfriend or whatever. Like she's like telling Alex's boyfriend, like, oh, if you drop Alex off at home, me and Phil probably won't be home yet. So, and the guy's like, oh, yes, I'll just drop her off and I won't come inside and I'm not gonna do anything. He's like, well, she's trying to get him to like make out with her pretty much because she's concerned that, yeah, Alex isn't, gonna date. She's just gonna stay in this friend zone with people forever.
not
Which
being
is,
enough of a kid, yeah.
yeah, which is kind of a worry, back then.
Yeah.
Nerd culture was on the rise,
Oh
right?
yes. And
Yeah,
dude,
it
that's
was.
literally the next episode, I think, is the nerd culture rising. Uh
Oh yes, when at the museum
the
episode.
museum, yes.
Yeah.
Episode 17, the art museum bit, which is still funny, again, still well done. But this is a marker, I think, in terms of where the cultured members of the family try to outdo each other with their kind of art knowledge. And this is, I think, again, a byproduct of the social media takeover where all of a sudden you are competing about who knows more, right? Like who's smarter, who knows more source, right?
Hmm.
And that was considered, this is the beginning of the nerd culture takeover, right?
Yeah.
I think even with that Jesse Eisenberg character, there's some of that too. But it's just very obvious with that, where it's just a funny, great gag with the art museum, where they're all like intimidated. They don't want to be the dumb one at the art museum.
Yeah.
And it's like Alex,
Yeah.
Manny, Mitch, and Cam, like, the cultured people in the family going to this art museum together. And they're all like intimidated by Alex's knowledge.
I love how Cam was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, bone up on, this Kandinsky exhibit that we're going to." So he just knows everything about Kandinsky, and then it turns out like that exhibition is gone, and they have some new one, and he's just like totally lost, like
Yeah.
making the most like the craziest comments, or like referring back to Kandinsky, like every minute. It was great. Yeah, this is a good episode.
And it so
Uh,
perfectly wraps up the culture that we were going into with that too. Like this is, yeah, the competing intelligence, nerdy intelligence being seen as this virtuous thing,
mhm.
socially at least, it was always kind of a virtuous thing in terms of discovery, whatever, blah, 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 inventions, yeah. But like it is like a social interaction, right? Uh,
Yeah, like yeah, where you have to know a lot or else you're not cool anymore, which
yes,
is which
yeah.
was like the opposite of what it kind of usually was. And then yeah, Alex admitting at the end, like, oh, thank God that was over. I'm just tired of having to dumb it down for everyone. Like, so yeah, it turns out she was like, yeah, trying to like make herself seem less smart, just so everyone else around her could seem more smart. And but they were so concerned about seeming smarter than her. It's just like it was this crazy like race to being the top nerd,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
it kind of at that time this was like around the peak Big Bang Theory. I would say
Yeah.
was probably just starting out around this time,
I think
if
that one
not founding
it was full on what's his face, that actor, the guy who plays the main
um,
character on that.
Parsons
Yeah, Jim
or
Parsons.
like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. He was everywhere. Yeah, and he was so big. I think he was getting a lot of movies made, and I think the show was because I think that show started like a year or two before Modern Family did. I think it was on the air already in like 2007 or something, 2006.
Oh, okay.
Because that went for like 13 seasons or something, and they like I think
Yeah.
it ended right before Modern Family ended. So I
Hmm.
think that one went on until like 2017 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And it
that was
didn't really like,
becoming a thing. Yeah.
yeah, it was like it didn't really get recognition for its first couple seasons, I don't think.
It was
Um,
popular, but it wasn't like Modern Family. Like I think Jim Parsons was getting nominated, for like
Yeah.
Emmys and things in a comedy role, but not everybody else.
And then when
Uh,
they found out he was gay, then the awards started flowing in again. This connects to Modern Family a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah. No, I mean that the other thing in that episode, so that was a big episode 17 was big also because that was the first time that Haley looked into Andy's eyes and was oh yeah, I could kind of be with this guy because Andy was trying to make I guess a film for his girlfriend in Utah, and Phil was helping him out with this like green screen stuff that he has.
yeah,
And yeah, he Haley Haley had to like jump into Andy's arms like a officer and gentleman type thing and like speak some words into her so Phil could like Photoshop or whatever
yeah,
Beth's face over Haley. And yeah, when he was like telling her how much he loves her and everything, like you could just see Haley like, oh my God, I'm falling for this guy.
yeah. And then they
And that
like,
kind of, that continues on till like, I guess the end of this season. They sort of make progress with,
absolutely. And that's like when she realizes that like she likes him, and she's like, oh wait, he's exactly like Dad. Like
yeah.
Phil and him are the same.
They are kind of, they're
Yeah.
dorks, dreamers, romantics, right?
Dude, the Las Vegas episode of this one.
Yes.
Uh,
My favorite episode of this season.
dude, there's a
Not just
lot
because
of
I'm
guest
in
stars.
Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just so good. It's so well written,
We
this
have
episode.
Fred Armisen. We have
Yes.
Stephen Merchant.
Hmm.
We have Patton Oswalt.
Yep.
And I do, there's even more than that. Those were just the ones I was like noticing as I was trying to jot down. Like, uh, Stephen Merchant's fucking hilarious in it. As like the concierge of like the hotel.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Bath Butler
yeah.
has a menu of baths that he can draw you. And they had trouble getting him for this episode because I guess he couldn't get a visa in time. So
Really?
all his scenes were filmed like in one day.
Damn.
Like it was a last minute replacement because yeah, it was they had other people uh that read to replace him and they went with them, but they're like, it's just not as funny. It's not as funny. He wasn't doing it the right way.
Dude,
So
he has
yeah,
that delivery. Yeah, his delivery is the funniest fucking thing about him. Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Co-creator of The Office, like the original British Office.
And the original, like the kind of the person that invented this style of candid filmmaking
Yeah,
almost,
the
whatever
mockumentary.
yeah,
Yeah.
mockumentary type thing, which is what Modern Family was built on. So I mean that's yeah, it's a great get for them.
Yeah, he would always do that.
Yeah,
He
so
has great looks to the camera too, again, because he basically helped invent the genre of like looking at the camera in the middle of a sitcom. Yeah.
yeah, I love when Fred Armisen and his I guess soon to be husband give Cam and Mitch their agenda for their weekend. So, in case you want to pop by, here's where we'll be. And Cam takes it and he's like, ooh, an actual gay agenda.
Yeah.
Which, again, the word gay agenda was like popping into, the culture around now because there was a little bit of the backlash to gay marriage from like a lot of more religious, right wing, conservative media was like about the gay agenda. And I thought
Yeah.
that was funny that they actually referred to that.
Yeah, and like Phil with the magic angle in Vegas. Yeah, with Patton Oswalt being like a uh loser magician or whatever, like wannabe magician in Vegas.
Yeah, I love that line where he's like, "Oh, don't tell me you guys have never had to call your spouse right away," and they're like, "Oh."
He's like, yeah, rub it in. Yeah.
Yeah, they all like look at each other like,
They're like, you
Yeah.
got to rub in that
No,
you have a
I haven't.
wife, huh? Yeah.
You gotta, and
Because
then
they're
so
all
also
magic nerds. Yeah.
this is where we meet Roberta, or is that what it is? Yeah, Robarca. Yeah.
Yes, yes. The female
Uh
version of Barkley is in like some, trinket shop in the hotel casino.
yeah.
Uh
That's great because yeah, Gloria has to try to hide it from Jay because she thinks he'll buy it right away, so she buys it to put it on hold just so she can cancel it later. But they end up delivering it to the apartment or their hotel, and
and they're like sharing three adjoining rooms or something. So like they deliver it
yeah,
to like Claire and Phil's room. And like it's just like standing there. And that's when Stephen Merchant thinks it's like who Phil is trying to like calling his wife.
yeah.
So he's like fixing drinks for this like dog statue.
No, and the this this whole thing culminates in like the most like Marx Brothers type farce, like mistaken rooms, mistaken identities almost type thing. And it's just hilarious and so well written, perfectly timed, directed, edited. It's
Yes.
brilliant. And I mean, this was written by Chris Lloyd was the one that wrote this, I think. Yeah, and he's also the one that wrote the Ski Lodge episode of Frasier, which was very much this type of farce, taking identities and rooms and everything, and
Yeah.
sexual conundrums. I mean, just to the very end of this episode, where they have like the kilt guys walk in, like, and it's just like, how much more insane can this get? And it's so brilliant.
And that farce of like the gay strippers coming in and like the guy that Jay's trying to impress stands up and you think he's
Yeah,
disgusted and he's just like, I like your style, Jay. You're in. And he
yeah.
like gets
He's
him in
like
the
the
he like gets the membership tier he wants at this casino or whatever.
yeah, and I love how Stephen Merchant, when the kilted strippers walk in, he's like, this reminds me of my grandfather. And Ty Burrell says like, oh, uh, did he play the bagpipes or something? He's like, oh no, he was a stripper. Like, I thought that was a great line.
Yeah. And the way
It's
Stephen
an
Merchant delivers it too, it's like so matter of fact and like yeah.
Oh, and there's the other. So this was filmed at Mandalay Bay.
Oh, there we
So,
go.
okay, we can talk about how many floors are in there and what, number floor 34 was. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was something like there's like 23 floors and Death Jay thinks he's on the top floor, but then he
Well,
keeps
it
learning that
was,
there's like more and more floors that are like reserved for higher VIP status levels. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. No, so yeah, he's got the Excelsior level, but finds out there's an Excelsior Plus. And
yeah,
then at the very end, he finds out there's an Excelsior Ultra. And
yeah,
like, no, there's a whole thing where he just wants to get like, he's like, how do I get to the level above?
dude, and
Um,
that's a very common thing in Vegas too, dude. Like, and I know a
yes,
little bit about it just from, I mean, you do too, right? Like living in the
yeah,
city and like knowing people that work there at these places. Like some of the really nice ones, Wynn, Bellagio, these really nice ones, you can't even book a suite. Like they don't even let you book some of the penthouses because those are reserved for high rollers that come in randomly, you know?
yeah,
Like this is such a common thing. We just had Valentine's Day here and uh since I know a little bit about how this works with people always think that like their like $300 $400 dinner is like deserves VIP treatment or something and it's always just like man you have no idea like these tables right here on like the balcony like facing the fountain or whatever these are reserved for people that have like $10 million credit lines at the casino. Okay. Like you have no
yeah,
idea what people are spending here. Like, you want to rent a villa? Okay. How much are you spending here a day? Because that's how they book villas,
yeah,
because the person that's getting the villa is spending a few million a day gambling, like just losing millions a day, like gambling. Okay. It's
yeah,
like an unreal level of like, you definitely see the the wealth divide in Vegas, I guess, more than you do in other cities, maybe, with some of that
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. And it's just funny that it was made into a bit because Jay is like a wealthier guy, and wants like the top treatment, but isn't getting it.
Yeah. And there's a funny line by Claire in this because she's like going back to like try to like win back some money that she lost years ago or something.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
she eventually does win it back, and she just has that whole like cocky Claire mentality. Like it goes back to like, just like some of her earlier instances. She always says like "suck it," and she just says like "yeah, suck it," the house. Like yeah, like "suck it" is one of her like boss bitch lines. And yeah, I love how they use that in this one too. She just
Yeah.
she keeps telling the house to suck it.
And that's great too when she has like Gloria blowing on the dice and stuff. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Um, these last couple episodes, okay, let's do Hard J's Night and the Australia episode because I feel like the last three are like all kind of one giant episode. Uh, episode 19, dude, this is another one where I thought there was one, the gay cake topper gag is fucking hilarious. It's so funny.
Yes.
Um, but also this is the thing where Manny gets invited to parties and Luke doesn't.
Hmm.
And there's this one, it's a tiny little line, but I thought it's based on this project. I thought it was important where it just said, Luke's like, well, why did you get invited and I didn't? And then Manny's like, I don't know. All the stuff that always made me like strange, now people like, because Manny was always weird playing his pan flute and stuff and like into theater, basically being like
Yeah.
a dork, a dork.
Again, rise of nerd culture.
Yes,
Nerd age
exactly. And
again.
it's a direct reference to it, like kind of here, the changing culture directly referenced about how nerds are getting their time in the sun here.
What else happens that episode?
It's not much besides the gay cake topper.
Yeah, no, yeah, and eventually we find out like, yeah, Stella has buried a bunch of stuff in the yard. The funniest part about that was like when they bring in all the stuff that Stella has buried.
Yeah, yeah.
It turns out like Phil's like, oh, the other walkie-talkie, and like you just know the backs like they this has never been a plot line, but you just know the backstory with that is like, oh yeah, he gave a walkie-talkie to Jay, and Jay buried his, and so they couldn't use him anymore. And like, yeah, that comes sort of back at the very closing bit where
He's like, "Come in, Papa
uh
Bear. Come in, Papa
where Phil,
Bear."
yeah,
Yeah.
Goldilocks to Papa Bear or something like that. Yeah.
And Jay's like
That
so
was so
annoyed.
good.
Yeah. Dude, and that gay cake topper's great. Another great little subtle thing where it's like Mitch doesn't like how like fairy-like he looks on like the cake topper.
Yeah, with the kicking of his leg. He's like
Yeah.
kicking his leg out. And
And then you learn at the
yeah.
end that it was like some diabolical plan by Cam the whole time to like get something he wanted out of the wedding planning, which
Yeah,
is
pretty
great.
much. Yeah, he wanted to get rid of the wedding singer.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think of the Australia episode?
Um, I liked it. Again, not as strong as it could have been. So
That's
I
what I
had
thought
some
too. I thought it was a kind of a missed opportunity. Yeah, where it
so
could.
some
Yeah, please go on.
oh so some backstory to this. This episode is kind of what changed the whole writer's room.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess like either Steve Levitan or Christopher Lloyd, one of them went to Australia, took their half of the writers' room, they took their half of the film crew, and everyone else was just like left back writing the next episode after that.
Right.
And I guess when they went over revision, like they were doing the read through like over Skype or something during these episodes in Australia because the crew was like in there, there for like 2 weeks.
Right.
So they did the read through of the next episodes. It didn't land, and everyone was like, "Oh, like I don't know. It just like harsh words got exchanged, I guess.
Right, here we
And a lot of
go.
people were like, "Oh, you're in Australia. You're posting Instagram of like you doing all these cool things,
Mm,
and we're here writing the episode, and you don't think it's funny enough. Okay, well, fuck you."
here we
And
go. Yeah.
there was a little tension that evolved because of that.
And now they have to diversify the writer's room even more or something, right? Yeah.
I don't, they didn't necessarily say that, but that's
It was a little
possibly
early for
what could
something
have
like that to
happened.
happen. Yeah, that was more
Yeah.
2016 era. Yeah, a couple more years.
But they were definitely like already like, okay, well, you can't just take half the
It's
people and have them go like, because they were like, honestly, like, way they describe it, the people who were in Australia was like, oh yeah, we were having fun all the time. We were going diving.
right.
Like, yeah, you were like posting stuff to Instagram and how much fun you were having, and you'd film like a little bit and whatever. And like they got these great flights, so, like Qantas paid for private jets and like all this stuff, promotion.
Union rules, baby. Everybody on the production has to go at least business class if it's a unionized role, which at a popular sitcom on ABC is a unionized role. You bet your ass it is for everybody involved.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean, I guess if you get a promotion deal out of it, like they're sponsoring
right.
you,
Yeah.
there's money involved,
And that actor, that
So this,
Australian actor's funny. He's from like Flight of the Conchords. He got his start with like Takiti Wakiki or whatever.
oh yeah, Restarty.
Yeah, dude, and he's always hilarious, but he always just kind of plays the same role,
Yeah,
like an
for sure.
idiot. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
no,
funny. I just remember
that
him
would
from
be
Flight of the Conchords was the
Ferguson.
first thing I ever saw him on. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, yeah, he plays Ferguson. I guess a person he used to live in Southern California for a little bit, on a visa, and Cam and Mitch knew him, and he was always like, he's kind of annoying. But then
Yeah.
once they find out that he's got a TV show in Australia
He's
and
like the
everything,
Letterman
like,
of Australia. Yeah,
yeah,
like a late
they're
night
like,
talk
oh
show.
yeah. But one of the funniest lines was like, we find out like we have so much in common. Like we don't like waiting in lines either. And it just shows him like bringing them to the front of the line. And it's
The
like, yeah, you
VIP.
find out you like the celebrity status, don't you? And yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was the best bit of the whole Australia episode. Because, yeah, I thought too, I was expecting it to be another Hawaii or something like, where it's just really funny gags and like kind of, cultural differences and things, just like funny little gags like that. But I don't know, I just expected a little bit more. Maybe they were having a little too much fun making that episode, so it wasn't as,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
the whole premise was that they were going there because Phil's mom had conceived him in Australia.
something like her grandfather was Australian or something, an immigrant, something like
I
that. Like,
heard
yeah.
it, something, yeah.
So Phil
And
technically has like ancestry there.
yeah, and she left money for them to go and have a good time and had these suggestions of what they should do. But Phil kept getting like what he got like stung by a jellyfish.
Yeah, which is a great scene. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got punched by a kangaroo. Like all this bad stuff kept happening to him. And then in the end, there's this whole like it could be the ghost of his mother came to him and told him that, oh yeah, if Australia like treats you this badly, then you're like really one of them.
That's a great
They
bit. Yeah.
yeah, they
Where he's
treat
like,
the
I'm
tourists nicely, but
and Phil's line in that, dude, where Phil's just like, you mean it? I think what you're saying is that I'm Crocodile Dunphy.
yeah.
And he's like, nope, that's not what I said at all, mate. And then he just like disappears.
Yeah.
Crocodile Dunphy. Dude, to talk about an 80s reference, dude, Crocodile Dundee, baby. Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
But
I
also
mean,
kind of one of the only Australians anyone here knows. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
really.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, dude,
it's
I've
too
seen
early
that
for
movie
a
like,
crocodile hunter
yeah.
reference.
Dude, I've seen that movie cried on it probably hundreds of times. It's one of my dad's favorite. Boomers love that movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a great
So
movie. Yeah, so did my dad. Yeah,
I've seen the first two, and then the third and fourth are not really.
there was a fourth.
It was kind of like it was with Danny McBride. playing like a long lost son or something of Mick Dundee, and
What?
it was bad, dude. It should have been much funnier than it
Was this like a
was.
2020 release
I
or
think it might have been right before that, and it was so bad that nobody cared.
okay? Because I just
Uh,
remember the third one was like Lost in LA or something like that.
yeah,
Like it was like this
yes.
bright colored pink sort of like
Yeah, I remember
poster.
exactly. Yes. I know because they have he has like a son with the woman now and
Yeah,
yeah, that and it was really bad, but the first two are great. Yeah. All right. So these last three episodes I feel like are episode 22 message received. I feel like that's an episode that is like meant to set up the final two here for the wedding, the two-part finale about the wedding for 23 and 24. It's basically, the wedding part 1 and the wedding part 2,
yeah,
where Jay and Mitch get into a big fight because Jay's, still a little uncomfortable with his son, at a gay wedding. He doesn't quite, and they honestly don't even show it that he's like, they show it that like he doesn't quite know how to talk about it. Like they keep showing those scenes, especially in the next two with the 23 and 24, where like he doesn't know what to tell his friends that like, oh, my son's getting married, and they all just assume it's a straight wedding, and that makes Jay feel like, oh, what do I say,
yeah,
kind of like, oh, actually it's gay, oh, he's marrying a man, like, and he kind of just makes him like not know what to do. So that leads to this huge fight between Mitch and Jay, where Mitch and Cam storm out of Jay's house.
mhm,
And Jay says something during that where he just says, oh, right, it's all like, my feelings don't matter at all about this, that I'm a little uncomfortable or whatever. You guys are allowed to just parade it around, but I'm not allowed to feel this, kind of. And again, it's this that, again, I'm sure the writers weren't thinking this at the time because why would they, right? Hindsight is 2020. But it's just that, again, that cultural thing is happening, this shift happening where to be uncomfortable is a sign of bigotry in some way, like, or whatever,
yeah,
even that you're just not used to it and makes you uncomfortable. Well, now all of a sudden that's like some sign of bigotry, it's becoming this thing. And of course, the story is that, of course, Jay isn't actually a bigot. Like he loves his son and like, ends up, in the next episodes here, be saving the day. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that message received episode was basically just there to set that up for the wedding to be this kind of heartfelt thing. And honestly, man, I thought the wedding was great. I thought it was a great gag. I thought the way they carried it for two episodes was great. It was funny. And honestly, dude, I don't know if it's just because I'm a little weepy here, with like and stuff, being a father or whatever, but like I got a little weepy eyed, like towards the end of it, even like, nothing like I
yeah,
wasn't having tears fall down or anything, but I was just a little misty eyed, like at the end when they're like, the heartfelt family thing happens and Jay saves the day and he's very proud of his son. They go to like the club and get married at Jay's country club where he was really worried about what the guys would think, and then he's standing there proud and being like, oh, my son's getting married today, as like his buddies are asking him what's going on.
yeah.
And I was it just got me a little misty eyed. Yeah. Like when I was just like, oh, this wholesome fucking show, dude, this wholesome fucking show. Uh, Man, we
I
need
mean,
something like this right now. We need like a mainstream family comedy, like sitcom that is as wholesome as that.
yeah, I mean, no, and also one of the smart moves they do is they bring Sal back into this.
Yes, Elizabeth Banks
Elizabeth
looking
Banks,
hot
yeah,
as ever. Even
yeah,
pregnant, she's
she's
hot as shit.
pregnant,
Yeah,
yeah, and she's giving her like, I mean, of course, she's still like she's pregnant, but she's like, I don't know if she's drunk,
right.
but
She's
she
like drinking
still
stuff.
acts drunk,
Yeah.
like she still acts like herself.
That's a great gag
And
too. Yeah, where she's like, "Oh, I'm 4 months," and then she's clearly like 9 months pregnant. Like she's
yeah,
huge. Like yeah, and like her like baby daddy, he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm 4 months, honey. That's as long as we've known each other."
yeah, and yeah. So she starts out her like toast to them like there once was a homo named Tucker and they're like okay like she starts going into labor like again and she's like oh and everyone's like oh is it normal to go into labor like 3 months early and she turns to her husband and is like sometimes when babies come this early they're black.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great little
I
line.
thought that
Yeah.
was great. Yeah.
Dude, and this that
The-
whole like because okay, so the listeners that don't know is it's the California wildfires are throwing off the wedding.
Mhm.
They have to keep changing venues and it becomes this kind of comical farce. But dude, Nathan Lane is just at his best as the kind of outlandish gay guy wedding planner. Because he's got like that little headset on and he's like running
Yeah,
around frantic and it's just so funny. Just his little one-liners. I wonder how many of those were improv of from Nathan Lane.
I'm
Uh,
sure some of them must have been, but my favorite part was they were in the mid. I think it was maybe in the second to last episode, number 23, um, when they had to move from their chosen venue to a different venue because of the fire, and he's he looks at one of the guys who's arranging one of the flowers on the tables, getting everything set up in the venue, and he's like, "Are you insane?" And he goes over and he turns the flower vase like a quarter of an inch.
yeah.
Like, and he's like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. Dude, Nathan Lane at his best. Yeah. Also, when they're changing the venue and he's just like, "Oh, it's a great venue," and they're like worried about it. He's like, "Well, its main selling feature is it's not about to become a kill."
Yeah.
He like screams it like it's just so good. Uh,
No, that's all. That's all. Again, and there's also a smaller bit that runs through, I think, the last episode, where it's clear that Phil is going to be the one to officiate the marriage, because of his online license, which again was I don't even know, it probably still is a big thing. People claiming that they
yeah, I got
don't really
licensed
care.
around that time too. You could
Yeah,
get
I have a
licensed in the
license too. Yeah,
yeah,
everyone did because it was just a fun thing to do on the
and
internet.
it's
Yeah,
like
you could
30
do,
bucks or something and you get
yeah,
licensed on the
yeah.
Universal Church or whatever.
Yeah, you could print out your license and like, yeah, it was a it was a fun thing to do at the time.
It was like a party trick for me too. I would like pull it out of my wallet, like the
Yeah.
license, and be like, "Yeah, I could marry you right now if you want." Uh,
Yeah, no, it was all fun and like it was kind of a funny thing. But Phil of course takes it very seriously. And he is
s-
giving an example of what, the vows look like to Manny and Luke. And they pretty much like say yes to everything, and
yeah,
it seems like they get married, and like Alex is filming this.
yeah, that's a great bit.
Yeah, like yeah, and also she films them like next to the car that says just married.
Yeah,
Like,
and it like carries
um,
through those last two episodes where they just keep being in scenarios where it looks like they just got married, like Manny and Luke,
yeah.
and it's just so fucking funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, dude, speaking of the time, there's a Kate Upton reference. Luke says his wife is Kate Upton, his future wife or whatever.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh, taking me back, dude, to when Kate Upton was on the cover of Sports Illustrated every year, swimsuit edition.
Yeah.
So hot. Haven't heard that name in a while. I was
Which
like,
was
ooh.
like the very beginning of like, because remember people were calling Kate Upton like fat.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because she wasn't like tight bodied, she was just soft, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's why
And
she was so appealing. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then I mean, again, a couple years later, we will have the rise of like, fat is fat is actually attractive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Lizzo is one of the hottest women ever,
Right.
you know, type stuff. Until all those people eventually disavow it years later because they were on Ozempic,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
which is what's happened.
Well, dude, that's why, as somebody who is a former fat kid, that's why it always rubbed me the wrong way because I knew that those people were lying.
Yeah.
Because I would say the same things when I was unhappy with my body and all of that is like growing up as a fat kid and stuff and what it does to you psychologically. And I just remember thinking like you're all lying. Like I know what that feels like. I know it exactly what you're talking about because I was in that position and like I hated it. I would pretend that I didn't care.
Mhm.
Like the Chris Farley thing, I would try to do the Chris Farley, hey, I'm the fat guy, well, like kind of like, and that's always a coping mechanism. Like because of your own like like you hate the way you look at yourself in the mirror and stuff like it's a understudied and I get why people were trying to be positive about that because it is so psychologically damaging especially to kids to think of yourself that way hell I lived it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's what always rubbed me the wrong way. So yeah, it's a sweet little small victory for me to see everyone suddenly backtracking on that. I was like, yeah, I knew you were all full of shit. Like, because I had a little insider
Yeah.
information on this one. Yeah,
No, like no one likes being fat. I was a fat kid
exactly.
too, and it was just like, yeah, I was like, no, I did not like it.
Yeah, it was not fun, dude. Yeah. That's why I always say football and stuff were so important to me because like being the big fat kid all of a sudden playing contact sports when you know you're middle school, high school age,
Mhm.
life changing, dude. Because all of a sudden like you're not a freak anymore. You're like you can use your size and it's like people are slapping you on the back because you're like using your size.
Yeah, and you're exercising more, so you're actually losing weight.
Exactly. And
So
you're like
it's like,
you're lifting weights and yeah, you're like getting a little thinner anyway. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, schools need to like really focus more on that if they're gonna like actually care about
S-
people's
Especially for
health.
boys,
And
dude. Yeah,
that's,
especially for
yeah.
big boys. Yeah, it's a huge lifesaver sometimes finding a sport where the
Mhm.
size is an advantage and not like a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Uh, because you know that doesn't work for soccer or something, but for football, you know, the contact sports, you know,
Or like
hockey,
wrestling or something.
yeah, wrestling, yeah,
Which,
things like
Luke
that.
is really into, yeah,
Yeah.
in this series. It's like, yeah, yeah, he had to like cut weight for wrestling and stuff like that.
But overall, man, yeah, like looking at it, like looking back, like I was just thinking, like, man, the wedding was well done. It was great. I enjoyed every minute of those like last two episodes, you know. And like I said, I even got a little misty-eyed when Jay's, you know, proud of his son and then walks him down the aisle, you know, like it's just that is something that I think we, you know, we're always vaguely talking about how TV and movies used to be better. And I mean us by like literally everybody in the world, you know, it's just like a vague thing that like people comment on all the time.
Mhm.
And I think it is something that like it's true, right? Like we are missing it. And I think that's just something if I could put my finger on it, it's something like this. It's being in love, like being so endeared and like invested in these characters and their fictional lives that you get emotional in a dumb sitcom, just seeing like a heartfelt family moment, you know? And I think
Oh,
something like
yeah.
that, it's important. Yeah, like it's important. And that's why I found it so charming. That's why I found it so heartfelt. And I was like, oh, I'm almost misty-eyed jaywalking Mitch down the aisle. You know, it's like these fake characters, they're fake. It's a fake story, you know, but like all of a sudden you're bought in into the fiction and you're like, wow, this father and son, you know, like he's there for him.
Mhm. No, I mean it was a great season. I think one thing we didn't touch on in episode 21, there is a plot line where Phil uh, has ordered from a record store the 45 of
Hmm.
Carly Simon's "Nobody Does It Better" or "No One Does It Better,"
Oh yeah.
and that's the song he lost his virginity to, and he has to like hide that from Jay. And well, and his wife, but he has to hide it from Jay because Jay saw him, I guess, at the record store from across the street.
Yeah.
But Jay's secret is that he's entering Stella in a dog show, which is great. Because he's embarrassed to be the type of guy that enters someone into a dog show. It kind of like destroys his image
Right.
as
Yeah.
an alpha male guy.
That is a great
And
little
also,
gag. Yeah.
and also there's that in episode 22, Manny with the pickles.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Jay with the blood sausage, and Gloria with not wanting to scratch Stella's belly. It's That's a great one too. Yeah, yeah. Manny just refuses to try pickles because he hates them, and then Gloria gets upset at Jay for shaming Manny, so she dares him to try like the blood sausages
Yeah.
from her grandmother, which doesn't like honestly, I thought Jay would be the type to actually like really want to try blood sausages.
Yeah,
Seems like that's like a
considering
very
it's been a plot line already in the series about how much he loves sausages, like specialty sausages and things.
yeah, and meat
Yeah.
like yeah, like man food. So it's like it just seems very uh
Plus, I
weird that he
mean,
would want blood sausages
dude,
because it's like yeah, I'd try them.
Dude, I'm a sausage guy, so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I've tried
Really.
many different types. Like, yeah, and like I would somebody offered me one, I'd taste it. Yeah.
Yeah, I give it a try.
If it sucks, it sucks, but I mean, I'll give it a taste, dude. Yeah. So there's that German place here in Vegas, dude, Hofbrauhaus, that beer hall.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a whole sausage plate, baby, like kielbasa's
Oh
and
yeah.
shit. Yeah, I do that usually if I ever go there. I'm always like,
Yeah,
yeah, give me
yeah.
that sausage platter. I'm gonna try all these different sausages.
Yeah, sausage. They got some good sauerkraut there too.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
no, I
good,
love that
listeners. If
place.
you're in Vegas, go to Hofbrauhaus and get the cabbage is great. Yeah, everything that they do is pretty tasty, and you get some huge beer mugs.
Yeah, and fellas, the uniforms on the waitresses are very nice.
Yeah, and they'll spank you even if you ask for it. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, yeah. I mean, another great dude. You know, listen that same episode with the record and the Stella and the dog show is they're doing another family portrait, and Gloria
Yes.
is concerned that Joe is too white looking, and her family in Colombia is gonna make fun of her or something.
Yeah.
And so they're like worried about his skin tone and stuff. Again, this was not even mentioned in the previous seasons, and now all of a sudden Joe is not Colombian enough, right? Like again, Lily's like her Vietnam thing, like we talked about last season, last episode. Again, go listen to that, listeners. Um, just yeah, little things like that, man, where this little almost like really kind of nasty political like quips. I mean, again, it's still funny in the show, blah blah blah, but it's just like, okay, like you're worried about your son's skin color, like kind of thing, like it's kind
Yeah.
of like these little things that are just starting to blossom in terms before they become full blown into the woke in a few years. But
There
yeah.
was a couple of funny things in episode 22. So Mitch is trying to sell his comic book.
Oh,
Um,
right.
yeah, Spider-Man versus Green Goblin
Dr.
or
Octopus.
Doctor Octopus. Yeah. Um, and it's worth a bunch of money, but he drops it, and he's he's running to Jay and Gloria's house, trying to find a hair dryer, and he comes in saying like, oh my God, do you guys have a hair dryer? And Jay's like, oh, is this some gay emergency? And he's like, no, it's not a gay emergency. It's my comic book,
Yeah.
which is a line that like actually kind of it refutes the whole like you know the nerd culture
Yeah.
dominance thing. It's sort of like no, fucking being a comic book nerd is gay. So yeah,
And
it's your gay problem.
that's what
This
starts the
is a
fight
gay
between them.
problem. Yeah.
The fight
Yeah,
between
it's a
Mitch
social
and
climate.
Jay, which gets resolved in the final wedding two-part episode there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also 22 is also where they pull up a bunch of old like Phil's old stuff, and they find his answering machine,
Oh yeah, yeah,
where they discover that Claire told him she was pregnant on there. And also, we find out that while Claire and Phil were dating, Mitch was asking Phil to like hook him up with some of his single female friends.
yeah. Yeah.
And he was making excuses about why he couldn't see them or whatever. Obviously, because he's gay.
Right.
Um, but one of the funniest things was like they unpacked a Zima
Oh yeah.
from his box. And, I mean, again, like this is people who are my age, and and your age. Uh, Zima, it meant something. It was different. It was like the start of those like designer beers. Um, like
Before the Smirnoff Ice, like six
yeah, before
packs, and
Smirnoff
yeah.
Ice, but after the wine coolers.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it was between there where it was like, oh, this is like kind of like a tasty malt liquor
And it was cheap.
type thing. Yeah, that was cheap. And the
Uh,
ads were like ubiquitous, like something different. And it was always like a Z pronounced instead of the S. But Yeah, that was funny. Phil talks about like, oh yeah, me and my friend were blasting Bjork, knocking down Zimas
Yeah.
before we went in to see Sleepless in Seattle. I was like, oh God, that's so fucking like early 90s. And then you
It's
listen to his answering machine and it's all like, you know, Phil's room, party time, excellent. And
yeah.
it's like this Wayne's World parody is so good. Yeah, I really love that part.
Yeah, it was another great season with just a little bit more of the woke tentacles coming to the forefront very subtly. So again, yeah. Uh I think we did it, bro. I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did, dude.
Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
really. There's not much else. I'm looking through my notes, and I think we covered it all, man.
and again, listeners, go listen to every part of this. This is one of the free ones, but we've covered the first 5 seasons. Now we're gonna keep covering the next. I guess there's six more. There's like
Yeah,
six more
and
seasons to
it's
hit
so
this bad boy.
crazy. It's like
Yeah.
what could possibly happen? Like Haley would be like 27
Yeah, I think by the
at the
end
end
she's
of
supposed to be
this.
like 26 by like season 11 or something. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think the
Like, yeah,
actress is like
like
almost 30. Like, yeah, like
what is going to happen to these characters? I mean,
uh
I kind of forget because I don't remember the end seasons, but man, it is,
that's gonna be something to talk about too, when it kind of loses its magic,
yeah,
as every show does. You can't keep that up forever. It's towards the later season, season 9, 10, 11, where it's like, okay,
yeah.
yeah, it's been on long enough that like they're almost running out of things and repeating storylines and yeah, but we'll get there. Yeah. Dude, it's just I remember what they do with Haley in that last season. It's funny, but it's also like yeah,
I've heard about, yeah, I know about Haley.
yeah.
I guess I know about her, but like,
But for
I don't know, it's
Alex,
just like,
Manny, and Luke, they
well,
really kind of dropped the ball for like what they're doing as adults out of college now.
yeah, like, what is that like? I just, yeah, I don't remember that. I remember Haley in that plot, but yeah, everyone else, it's like, what are you gonna find them to do?
Yeah,
You have to like they have to do something. Like there has to be something new going on. But yeah,
yeah.
no, it'll be interesting. But season five, great season. Again, Vegas episode, best episode, in my opinion,
Oh
for
yeah.
the season. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Vegas episode kind of just, yeah. That was best written, best directed, just brilliant, brilliant episode.
And a huge guest star list. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Until season 6 here, Eric.
All right.
Heavy.
Bored.
Heavy.
I am heavy. Bored.
I may say that the male is entirely hostile. No! Inner
Resources.
life, friends, is boring. We must not say so. Are you radioactive now?
Inner.
Resources. American resources.
Being bored?
Some activities are intentional, right?
It shows such a lack
Heavy.
of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom,
Heavy.
I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy. Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.
If you're hearing this, it's because you are listening to the free public feed of Heavy Board. To get complete, uncensored, uninterrupted, full access to this podcast, become a subscriber at patreon.com/heavyboard. That's right, Heavy Board is made possible by subscribers like you. For less than 1 cup of coffee per month, you will receive private access to uncensored, full-length episodes, Jerk Shop, heavy bonus content, subscribers-only AMA episodes, bonus extended interviews, and more. Come join the conversation today at patreon.com/heavyboard.